What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Boys in the Big Apple podcast, episode 89. Last week we had free agency. We're going to actually go through it all. We got John here. We got Donald here. Alex is back in the studio. So we're going to go through first thoughts. There's a lot to cover tonight. So I'm going to go Donald, John, and then myself.
What up? What up? Let's go. Everybody in the house, let's get the likes up. Let's share it out to your friends and family and whoever else, your dog, your cat, your cousin. Let's get this shared up. Let's get the numbers up. Like, because it helps the old algorithm. These important, pertinent things that we must talk about now that we're reached 1K. So I hope everyone in the chat is doing well. My best to Professor Angry John and my man Luca.
Yep.
And Alex, wherever he is, coming and going. The New York Giants have had an interesting week. I think that they've gotten better in some areas. I think I'm really excited to see Waller. I think Waller's a steal. I think Parris Campbell's a nice high upside signing, very cheap. Not much risk attached to that. Pretty good. But they are still going to be shopping hungry in the draft as it stands. I wonder how the Sean Robinson visit's going to turn out. Should turn out okay, and maybe the Giants sign him up and improve their depth in terms of run stopping. But yeah, the draft, they need to attack center and defensive back and receiver, and there's a whole bunch of safety, the whole bunch of things that the Giants haven't really addressed yet. So that's the first thing in regards to the Giants. The New York Knicks are on right now, and they are not playing any defense, but still the Knicks are playing very, very well in general. And Mexico are 3-0 up on Japan with Ohtani up at the plate right now. It looks like it could be the United States versus Mexico in the WBC. As LA Yankee King has here, I love the WBC. I tell you what, I'm loving it too, because that was my very first baseball game this year that I watched was yesterday, the USA game. Shout out to the United States of America, baby. Let's get the
USA.
American flag up and proud. And America is kicking ass, as they always do. America, fuck yeah. Leader of the motherfucking world, yeah. And so that's how it is. So I'm representing the U.S. Let's get everyone in the chat going. Go USA, and of course, you know the Yankees continue to annoy me. But we will get into that very, very soon. But let's pass it on to Luca.
Angry John, you're next.
What is up, guys? Shout outs to everyone in the chat tonight. Thank you for all your questions, comments, your likes on the video. Please make sure to keep it up. We really do appreciate all of the support that we get. Right now, I also do have the New York Knicks on, as they forgot how to play defense tonight. That's okay, though. That's okay. We're not going to react. It's one game. The New York Rangers have absolutely dominated this week. I have no complaints there. The Jets are still waiting for this Aaron Rodgers guy to
It's not the guy.
No, I know it's not the guy, but
time out, guys. Shout outs to Jets Smith's first super chat. $50, man.
Thank you.
I'm
Jets
sorry,
Smith.
Angry John, but
Holy
wow.
shit.
First
Yeah,
super
buddy.
chat.
Man,
from
you didn't
Jets
have
Smith.
to.
Thank you. Don't
Oh
have
my
to do it, guys,
God.
but we appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, man.
But Angry John, keep going, my man.
Jets, mess. God bless you.
And speaking of the Jets mess, and their entire organization, there is no we're going to get into the Aaron Rodgers debacle or supposed trade that will happen, as he announced on the Pat McAfee show last week that he wants to play for us and only us. And then, the New York Mets happened and ruined that day for me, because now there's going to be more breaking news, because Pete Alonso is going to be out 64 months with an extra toe grown. Francisco Lindor is going to get hurt with belly button lint. Sam Darnold is going to come back from San Francisco, and he's going to injure or get Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer sick with mono. So it's all going to come crashing down. That's what they do. The collapse.
Angry
Go
John
ahead.
you about something.
Mhm.
Luca, did you put any first thoughts in? I want to make sure I'm not interrupting.
Not so well. It was an interesting week for me last week. Obviously, we had spring break. So Monday, Tuesday, I was exhausted from all the scrolling from the free agency stuff and the Aaron Rodgers saga. So Wednesday, watching it, I went nuts. I screamed and yelled in my bedroom. I was jumping around like a fool. I ran out on the street, started yelling. I was really excited. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is not the one holding this thing up. It's the petty Packers organization. We'll get into that later. The Rangers have been on a roll. Mika Zibanejad in particular, same with Artemi Panarin. Obviously, they've been a nice scoring duo. Igor Shesterkin has done a very nice job with the goaltending and the saves. The Yankees, they're not playing well spring training. Obviously, there's some things to diagnose. And as for basketball, the Knicks are rolling, and we're enjoying every minute of that, despite them losing right now.
Yeah, so definitely. Shout outs to the chat. Once again, shout outs to one time for Jets Mess, our first super chat of the channel. So Jets Mess, you are a part of history. You guys are a part of history. All of you are really. Milestone, yes. We're about 17 away from 1,100. We're trying to get there within the next few days. Before I get to the comments, before I get to my real first thoughts, I do want to provide some updates. Wednesday, 9:45, Angry John will be joining me on an edition of the Dead Red podcast. We're going to break out some MLB predictions for you. Thursday is going to be the AL East Roundtable. I don't think I have an Orioles guy, but that might be the pun and the joke of the stream because, well, Orioles fans, I guess they don't exist. But our buddy from last year, Scott Belford, who was on with us on this podcast. Of course, he's a Blue Jays fan. He'll be joining us on Thursday along with Jeff, I think it's Pacalino or Macalino. He covers the Rays. Friday, you guys got the Friday Night Knicks podcast, and we're going to put some content out within those days. And once again, next Monday is going to be MLB predictions. So tune into that. We may or may not get into MLB today. Certain things, yes. Certain things are a little redundant. But, the Giants have made some more moves. The Jets obviously have kind of found out who their quarterback is. It's just a lot of things are waiting to happen. A lot of other stuff as well. So, guys, be here for it. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. And I know, obviously, we are monetized. We're not the biggest channel yet, but I do not force anybody to commit any donations. That was a great gift, Jets Mess. You made history there. Thank you. I do want to.
By the way, I would just want to say that the with the likes, guys, it helps us get us out there. More people tune into us. It's kind of like your way inadvertently of sharing us around without actually sharing it. Getting the likes up shares us out. It gets us to more people.
Yeah, so I want to start from the top. Shout outs to Billy. Obviously, this was before the stream started. No worries, Tainted dropped the vid. Still watching that. Go USA, 42 first quarter points. Oof. The pain is a Mets and Jets fan. Well, I mean, that's the Angry John he's got the merch for the channel. The Hayes.
We're both wearing it.
Thank you, Hayes. Again, the New York Jets, so close, but never finish.
All on the shirt.
Jets will jet and Mets will Met. Hey, listen, there's no better phrase than that. Luca, you got to teach me hockey.
I think Angry John would do a better job.
Yeah. Yes, this weekend coming up, the NCAA tournament. You had an Orioles guy. We all know what the story of that one. To put it briefly, I'm a huge fan of the show. Spent many hours listening to your good work. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Sorry, guys, had a thumbs down because of Alex. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not the most attractive feature on here. What's up? I'm glad I can help out by sharing and liking your channel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great supporter of late. Great supporter. All you guys are great.
All right, so we're on 10 likes. Let's get to 20.
Yeah, why not? Let's get to 20.
9 o'clock.
20 by 9 o'clock. All right. Let's start reaching milestones here. Let's
do
get
it.
this out.
Let's build this up.
Not put that right.
But unexpectedly, I think this was, I want to say it was on Wednesday. Yeah, it was on Wednesday. Luca was watching the Aaron Rodgers stuff. Maybe it was Tuesday. I don't know, but it was last week. And I see this thing from Ryan Dunleavy. He goes, the Giants are looking for a tight end. And I'm talking to the chat, the chat we have, the fantasy group chat. I'm like,
it was Wednesday.
I don't want Gesicki, and I also do not want Dalton Schultz because I'm like, that's just like, I don't want assets towards that. Boom! Darren Waller is a New York Giant. I saw it like maybe 10 seconds after it was reported. Sorry for the ear rape, guys. 10 seconds after it was reported. I'm like, oh my fucking God, Darren Waller is a New York Giant. I was like, oh my God, this is happening. This is happening. They gave up a 3rd-round pick, total fleece. I mean, we'll break it down a little bit more, but what was I going to say? Donald, first thoughts on the Waller trade.
I think it's an absolute steal. Bill, shout out.
Bill, shout outs to Bill.
Oh
$10.
my God.
Okay,
Thank
second.
you. Oh,
Doing
God.
this.
Thank
Shout
you.
outs
Oh,
with
God.
y'all.
Thank you, Bill.
guys.
Thank
This
you.
is
Thank
so
you.
beautiful. I could cry.
Thank you.
Okay, so regarding Darren Waller, I think it's an absolute steal. This is Joe Shane really getting to work here. Pick number 100 that you got from Kadarius Toney, and you turn into Waller. I mean, Waller's had multiple 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He is a mismatch all over the field. He's an elite tight end when healthy. So it's really the key is just to stay healthy with him because if he's on the field, he is going to produce at a phenomenal rate. It's an absolute steal. And I think it's quite smart from Joe Shane because he's like, okay, I might not be able to get a WR1 this offseason. So what I can do is I can get a tight end, which is as good as a wide receiver 1, a really elite tight end. And that's the way he went. And that's kind of the way I can foresee this working out because I think it would benefit Daniel Jones more considering how he likes the outlet pass. He likes guys that get themselves open. And a big frame like Darren Waller, someone who can get downfield, great hands. I think he's going to be excellent. So, no, I love this deal. Like a 10 out of 10, A+, you name it. Jess Messersmith says Waller really is a wide receiver. Yeah, so he's basically like a wide receiver in a tight end's frame, which is awesome. So we get 2 for the price of 1. We also restructured his deal to allow us more cap flexibility with the full intention that he's going to be here for the long term. We've got him for at least 3 years, at least. I think he's going to be great as a Giant. Plus, he's overjoyed. He was saying that he was brought up as a Giant fan with his family and stuff. So it's a great move for Joe Shane. Hats off. A+. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely. Some outside thoughts before I diagnose it a little bit more. Angry John, and we'll go to Luca.
Well, I think the Giants are the clear winners in this trade. Looking from an outsider's perspective, first off, like you guys said, you turned Kadarius Toney into a mid-round pick, which that mid-round pick you used for Darren Waller. That's excellent by the Giants with Shane and the whole front office there. But I want to say this about Darren Waller because I think he's very underrated in this game. And I know he's had some injuries that have held him up in the past year or two. But this guy's a guy who's already had multiple 1,000-yard seasons, okay? He'd be a great safety blanket in this offense for Daniel Jones. I have a stat here. So Waller is so this stat is called most receptions over expected. So it's basically like how many like catches you're catching over like what you should even be doing. He's number 2 in the NFL with tight ends since 2019 at 16.3. The only guy that's higher him at 16.9 is George Kittle. So he's just a really good receiver with the
Awesome
that's a fantastic stat to be in the top part of the leaderboard. And you think of it, the Giants really don't have like a number 1 wideout. Well, this could be their number 1 option. Darren Waller, he's got the size, he's got the athleticism, and he can run downfield too. So it's not like he's just this guy that's gonna be a safety blanket like he is, but he also has the ability to go vertical. So that's gonna really help Jones out in the vertical passing game. And again, you start with Kadarius Toney, who I know you Giants fans did not like whatsoever. I can see the look on Donald's face there, but you turn that into a mid-round pick, and then you basically fleece the Raiders. I mean, what are they thinking here to sell the guy short when his value is down because of an injured season? I guarantee you, in this new offense, Waller will be one of the top 2 or 3 tight ends back in this league. And yeah, that great move there by the Giants.
Alex, you're muted.
I meant to say Luca, but yeah, I was.
Yep, I saw that. But anyways, regarding the Waller move, I thought it was a fleece by the Giants. I know that I think for the last 2 seasons we've seen reports that Darren Waller was being shopped. I know the Packers were interested, but there was a trade, and the Raiders declined, or whoever declined, whatever. But this is an absolute steal for the Giants. The Giants don't have an abundance of game-breaking talent, but I think you get that with the tight end position in Darren Waller. It's 3rd-round pick. That's a complete steal for one of the best tight ends in the game when healthy. Yeah, there's nothing much more to say than that. It's a steal, and it's a big safety blanket for Daniel Jones. You got not one but 2 solid tight ends.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just want to get to the chat a little bit before I break this down a little bit more. Justin's mess is absolutely right. So when I was on YouTube, I was uploading some YouTube shorts. By the way, let's get more views on Donald's YouTube shorts, by the way. I know everybody's used to me doing it, but as we grow as a channel, these guys are going to be contributing even more and more. But I was on YouTube. No problem. I was on YouTube, and it was just randomly this Raiders guy was just screaming into his phone on a live stream, and he wasn't happy about the whole trade and whatnot. So, but Jeffrey, yeah, thanks for the updates on college basketball. We fleeced the Bears and the Raiders. That trade back was epic. We got Tibbs, Waller, Bellinger, Aaron Robinson, and a 6th-round pick. Thank you, Chicago. To be fair, listen, I'm not going to sit here and discredit the Giants, but the Bears are looking really good too. I think the only question is the offensive line and how they'll progress through that, because I think that's the only thing that they haven't really done. And to be honest with you, I don't really. I'm actually no. They did sign Mike McGlinchey, or did they not?
That was Denver.
That was Denver. Was Denver. Okay. All right. So I had my tokens a little bit wrong there. But with that being said, just attack it in the draft. I guess that's, one way to not be the Giants for 2021. Texans made some solid signings with Singletary and Schultz. I didn't even know they signed Singletary.
Yep, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, going to be 5-12 next year. Waller is really a wide receiver. Eli, we'll get to your comment in a little bit. Shouts to Evan in the chat. Bad for the Jets by the Patriots.
But the Patriots are killing your free agency. I disagree, but the Patriots, listen, it's okay. The Patriots are stacking up on mid, okay?
Who have they gotten that's like really excellent? Fine.
Well, they got Juju. They got, I think it was Gesicki, and I think that's it.
I get. That's why I asked. Who do they get that's like don't get me wrong, they're fine players, but I don't.
And they lost Jacoby Myers, and Myers was pissed on Twitter because he got into salary to Juju.
Oh, we should have portrayed that he was going to go to Vegas. I mean, he did help them with a win this year. Don't forget
that he did. Right. That he did. I must be out of the freaking loop with this whole free agency thing, because I didn't know about the Schultz signing till about maybe 30 minutes before the show. I didn't know about the Singletary signing, and I didn't even know about the Gesicki signing. So my head must be up my rear end today. But anyway, yeah, I mean, how could it not? But anyway.
Yeah, I know that the Texans got Schultz in an absolute steal. Where did Gesicki go?
New England, from what we hear.
Oh, okay.
James Robinson, that's the other mid signing.
I'm not. Yeah, Duran has what was I going to say? The right comment that I think Luca said.
Yeah, somebody said on Twitter he Schroedered himself. Schultz originally had a 3-year, $36 million offer, which is $12 million AAV, and he rejected that. And now has a 1-year prove-it deal for $9 million. It's not to the extent.
Gardner-Johnson too.
He's
I don't understand why the Jets didn't sign him, but that's for later.
All right. The Bills signed.
Can I ask you guys in general, why is the market so depressed? Gardner-Johnson only took a 1-year deal. Schultz only taking a 1-year deal. Why are there so many cheap deals?
So there's two things. I think your mic's breaking up again, but we did understand what you said. Why is the market so depressed?
Yeah.
I'll start with Luke on that one, because that's actually a pretty good question. Why is the market so
I'm not
down?
so sure, because
running backs too, like Miles Sanders only got 6 to 9 mil per year, I mean, that's an interesting one.
It's so low, like because the cap is going up. It's constantly going
Julian
up.
Love only got like what,
$6 million a year. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson got $7, $8 million a year. Like all these different guys. Like I could look up the salaries and stuff. It's weird to me. I don't know why.
Well, I honestly think this free agency class isn't like a strong one.
It's not spectacular.
Yeah, so that's why I think like teams are kind of holding out.
Like I'll give you some of the deals right now. I'm sorry to interrupt, John.
Mhm.
Jimmy Ward, 2 years, $13 million. Jordan Poyer, 2 years, $12 million. Julian Love, 2 years,
That's terrible.
$12 million. Let me give you other safety that was signed. Jesse Bates is the highest one to date. 4 years, $64 million. You had Von Bell at 3 years, 22. Juan Thornhill, 3 years, 21. Same with Donovan Wilson. And nothing much from there. The highest that was set was Jesse Bates.
This is strange, though. Like safety and running back seem like to be the worst ones. Yeah, I did see your comment, Jeffrey. Outside of Jesse Bates, safety position being looked at like the running back position for the defense's free agency. Yeah, CJ got $8 million, somewhere around that. Everyone spent their money early, and the majority was spent on quarterback, offensive line, and defensive tackle. Running back market crashes free agency. Daniel Berry says, "Congrats! What's up? What is up, Daniel?" But to add on,
probably because of quarterbacks.
were the quarterback signings
Well, because the quarterback market is obviously so crazy now that there's no
inflated?
middle ground. Do
Yeah,
you think that maybe has something to do with the rest of the positions being depressed?
I mean, it's not like, to be completely transparent, it's not like there were like too many like big crash quarterback signings. Like, if I'm not mistaken, now I could be wrong with this, Daniel Jones has the most of anything this offseason that was recently signed. He has the most salary per. He's 40, right? You got Geno Smith at 35,
Yeah.
Derek Carr at 37. Was it Jimmy G at like 20 some odd million dollars?
22.
So I mean, like,
And Lamar's not even
I'm
signed.
not right. I'm not endorsing that those quarterbacks get more. I mean, we all know our thoughts already on certain things, but it's just odd. Like this was a terrible free agent class. I'm not going to lie to you. There was not a number one wide receiver. The offensive line was pretty meh. I mean, it wasn't like last year, the year before. So, I mean, still, but you can still pay these guys at least a solid salary. But I guess, a lot of people are not taking stock into typically front offices. CJ Gardner-Johnson's good year with the Eagles and, all these different guys. So what I would say interest now is, besides the whole draft plan for the New York Giants, is if you're Saquon Barkley, how do you bring this to the table if you're Joe Schoen? Miles Sanders has been Saquon was better than Miles Sanders last year, but he's a young running back. How do you take that to the table? How do you say, look, screw what these guys got paid. I'm better than these guys. Like, I don't know how much Singletary got paid. Now that he's not a great running back, but still it comes to the conversation. Is there more of a positional value type of thing when it comes to free agency? So, I mean, nobody's talking about this either. I think it was Donald who brought that up. Nobody is talking about this. So, boom, you just got an instant topic that is worth talking about. At this point in the market, Saquon is lucky to get $10 million on the tag. Hopefully, they can work out an extension and still get him paid. But it's something we can get other weapons with. That's true. Shout out to Jacob in the chat. What is going on, Jacob? Maybe the running back and safety pay scales need to be revised. Someone suggested adjust the cap hits for, against for each position, which is definitely true. But yeah, there's only something to look into. A lot of underpays, not a lot of overpays, because I haven't said that a lot, but a lot of underpays especially. But back to this Waller thing a little bit. Do the Giants drastically improve on offense? Because I know at some point in the conversation with the resigning of Slayton, Jihad Ward, and then you got Parris, Campbell, and all these different guys that the New York Giants brought in, and then a Sean Robinson, I think it was today or tomorrow, which I'm really excited about, to be completely honest. Does this really get them closer to the talent gap? We'll talk about it in terms of talent gap between the Cowboys and the Eagles. But I mean, yeah, we'll revisit that. But anyway, this puts a lot of less pressure on Saquon Barkley, a lot of less pressure on the receiver room that is not really that productive. Darren Waller, I mean, defenses, if you took this roster and you put it on the field today, you'd probably sit there and go, okay, well, they're just going to put the number one corner on Waller. That's still a part of the issue. I'm not saying this offense is going to be top 15. I need to sit here and watch, what the rest of free agency and the draft, all that stuff does. But at least it takes the attention a little bit off Saquon Barkley to see, okay, Darren Waller's there. You know what? If you have two tight end sets, which the Giants will probably run a lot of this year, A, B, you're not going to need to get a tight end in the draft, in my personal opinion. Vanette is fine if he's still under contract. There could be other guys. You could try that guy, Andre Miller, from last offseason, try to convert him to tight end, but apparently he's going back to wide receiver. So at tight end, there's a plethora of options that you could maneuver with that you necessarily say, okay, we don't need to draft a Payne Durham. We don't need to draft a Will Mallory. And you could put those assets towards another position. And I know obviously a lot of people are getting the ideas, oh, well, the Giants are not going to assess first-round wide receiver anymore. I can't say that I'm sure about that, especially within the first three picks, because now it's 3, it's not 4 with the Waller trade. But at the end of the day, this trade that was a fleece, besides a stupid idiot on Twitter that said, no, it's smart for the Raiders, Giants did the right thing. Yes, they put some dead cap into his contract with the restructure, but however, I still think this is a very good deal for the Giants. And I think it's the best move of the offseason, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Oh, yeah. And it's funny because, you go back to the market stuff. The trade market has kind of been slow, too. This is really the only,
That's correct.
Big trade that has been out there because we've been hearing rumors, the Aaron Rodgers trade hasn't happened yet. How many rumors there have been about DeAndre Hopkins getting traded somewhere? Plenty of guys. There was Laramie Tunsil before. I think he did get extended.
He got extended.
Before, there was a bunch of trade rumors about him. So I don't think it's just free agents. I think it's just in general, market slow.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I have a point about that. Yes, we did see Damian Harris to the Buffalo Bills. But also, all right, go ahead.
You think it's maybe I'm just throwing shit out there to see if it sticks. But maybe does it have to do with the Rodgers and Lamar Jackson dominoes falling? Maybe.
I mean, it could. It's just I don't think so because you take a look at all these different trades that were supposed to go down last year that kind of went down this year, right? Brandon Cooks, for example. I mean, he was the asking price was a second-round pick, I think. And a lot of people said no. I said no. He goes to the Cowboys. Now, do I think it's going to be the greatest move ever for the Cowboys? No, because I think the Cowboys will win the division, but I think they will fall out of the playoffs like they usually do. Their reputation always, kind of lets into.
First round exit.
But it's a 5th-round pick they gave up. That's nothing. That's nothing for the Cowboys. As long as they perceive it as, okay, that's the next step. So you have that. You have the Jerry Jeudy trade, which he's still not traded because they're asking for a first-round pick, which is quite awful. Darren Waller, I think the Packers offered a first-round pick, maybe even a second-round pick
they said
last
no
year
at the deadline. Yep.
They said no. Well, guess what? He's now a Giant for a 3rd-round pick. I think Stephon Gilmore, he was traded for something like a 5th or a 6th-round pick. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just almighty in the chat. So it's just quite interesting. It's quite interesting to see the market kind of, collapse into itself like this. And, I don't think there's going to be any resets, but you just kind of have to, if you're an NFL GM, you're going to have to monitor a little bit, kind of like also the players as well, because once again, guys wanting extensions like Saquon Barkley. How does this impact your market? It doesn't really do good for you.
I don't know if I'm stating the obvious, but I have some input with the Cook stuff. The Cowboys have just restructured his contract. Per Todd Archer, they restructured his contract, turning $8 million of his $12 million base salary into a signing bonus. His salary is now $4 million for this year. He will count $6 million against the cap. He's still making the $18 million he was guaranteed in 2023, with Houston paying him $6 million.
Wow,
that's not terrible.
That's actually a pretty good deal for the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Booyah in the chat. He says you guys are picking on my Cowboys. Well, listen.
I didn't like the original salary, but the fact that they worked it around and the fact that Texans are being an aspect to it, it's actually pretty good because he had what 50 odd receptions, 600 plus yards. It's basically Slayton numbers, and Slayton got paid for around about $6 million per year. So the fact that you guys are getting technically a better receiver for same amount of money, it's actually pretty good now.
Right. Max says underrated pickup from the Giants too is Bobby. Bobby Okereke. Yep, we talked a little bit about it last Monday. I've taken more of a liking to it, but as I said, I want to see how it plays out. I still think we need to tackle linebacker, but it doesn't need to be assessed as early as as these other needs. Any final thoughts on the Waller trade or the market collapse kind of thing?
Nope.
I guess that's a no. Zig, what's going on? Leonard Johnson and the Giants, and no, it's not the Leonard Johnson that was a former Buffalo Bills cornerback. It is a Duke corner. Who supposedly I've read some interesting reports. Like there's one report that says he's very good in press man. There's another report that says he's not good in press man. Apparently he's like a versatile safety. I'm not taking too much stock into it. People are gonna be like, okay, well this is depth. Like I can't count on that because he tore his ACL last year prepping for the draft. I mean, he's basically like a Shep or any of these other guys, and he still hasn't played a game at the NFL level. So I mean, we'll see. Listen, it's a low risk, high reward for depth. And then we'll go from there, of course.
What do you think of Parris Campbell for just $3 million?
Gonna get to that in just a second, because that is actually our next topic, and I would like to discuss it. Giants need to draft a center with Feliciano gone. Yeah, they have no starting centers on the roster.
You could take Connor McGovern.
Yeah,
No.
he's good.
Shoe. Who do you think will be the QB for the Jets if they don't get Rodgers? They're getting Rodgers. Takes a Giants fan to say it, but yeah. What's up? We lost Feliciano today, and obviously our Jets fans below are wearing the merch.
One more like to 20, guys. Let's get to 20. And then
Yes,
we'll move
one more
up
like
to
the
30.
20. Jets mess being the humorous one. Stock market collapse. Since when you guys talk about politics? We're talking about the free agent market collapse with the running backs and the safety.
NFL
Yo,
politics.
did y'all see Arena's catch jumping?
Yeah, I
over
was just
the
about to
left
say
wall?
send you guys that. Oh my god.
Insanity is happening right
He
here,
just-
right now.
he just
It was
robbed
an
them of it.
unbelievable catch, and he's actually signing autographs now because it was that impressive. Like he's just.
What
he's
is
the man.
Mexico's still up, right? 3-0?
It is 3-0.
Yep.
All right. Darren has a good question. What was Campbell projected ceiling pre-draft? That's an
Well,
interesting question.
he was the number one on NFL.com. He's a ranked number one in terms of athleticism. He ran a 4.3. I checked NFL.com. They had him in the 99th percentile in terms of athleticism. So he is an absolute speedster. He's a rocket. So I think, Duran, you might be onto something. I think he is a diamond in the rough. He's had an injury-plagued career, but 600 plus yards, a couple of rushing touchdowns, multiple passing touchdowns. This is a guy that can help you in a number of ways. I'm excited to see what Kafka and Dable can scheme with him. He's by far my favorite receiver that we've brought in between him and Slayton and Hodgins. I think he's got the highest upside, so I like that move.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to obviously split hairs and, kind of go back on homerism here. My main target for wide receiver was McCole Hardman. I think a lot of people knew that because of the Chiefs connection, all these different things. But I mean, to be quite honest, they're similar in a couple of ways. Now, I haven't watched both games side to side, but the injury history, the projected ceiling. I mean, Hardman was a second-round pick. He's still a free agent to this day. Just give DJ consistent time to throw. Draft is, I guess, the old lineman then. But Parris Campbell, I mean, this was his best year. The Giants gave what they should have given to Parris Campbell. Now, I wasn't a big fan of signing him, but when I heard 1 year, $3 million, I mean, you can't go wrong. Prove it deal. And guess what? If he gets injured, that's his fault. He goes into the market next year. So I think he could do a lot of good things for this offense. Now, I kind of, contrary to some people think, I kind of like what Joe Shane is doing with his wide receiver room. I think it's a little bit different. But obviously we have to wait for the final project. Luca, what are your thoughts on the Giants signing a prove it deal? Signing, obviously, Parris Campbell to prove it deal.
Well, to answer Duran's thing about pre-draft, like Campbell was actually one of the most well thought of receivers. He was taken in the second round and back in 2019, I want to say.
Yeah.
Real speedster. I think the Giants are going to get that. I think it's a nice bargain kind of signing. I'm not calling it bargain bin, but I think it's a bargain signing, right price, right deal. Speed, obviously, but I think there is risk. Obviously, Dowell mentioned that he has had a lot of injuries throughout the course of his career. Is he a slot or is he an outside guy?
He could play both, actually.
Okay, that
He could
being
be both.
versatile helps. So to me, he's going to be like your guy's version of an Elijah Moore, although I think he's more speedy. But I think it's a solid deal. Now should you guys be done with the skill positions? No. So I think it's overall very good small signing.
Angry Chuck.
Agreed.
Like you guys said, I like it because it's a low risk, high reward. If he gets injured, so be it. If he pans out, you didn't pay him much. It's a prove it kind of type deal. Also, just remember this guy was in a Colts roster last year that really didn't have a quarterback, so it's kind of hard to judge receivers when they really have guys like Sam Ellinger and Nick Foles throwing to them for a good majority of the season. And again, another guy that could help out. I like what Lucas said that you guys do need more help. I think you guys should draft. I've been saying this for weeks now. I think the Giants should draft a receiver with either the first or second round, because again, there's a lot of unproven and I want to say unproven and not consistent. A lot of talent, but you guys could use like a number one target. And I like you give.
I wouldn't say a lot of talent. We've got like
you got
above
some
average.
talent. You got some talent.
It's
It's
above
not
average.
game breaking.
Nothing game breaking, but like you have like good depth receivers. I'd say like a Campbell, like a Hodgins, a Slayton. You know, guys that could fill out the roster. If you don't have that like number one target for Daniel Jones, maybe Waller could be that, but yeah, you still want some wideout help for him.
Professor John, Luca, and Alex, if I was playing devil's advocate, you could argue, Daniel Jones doesn't have anyone to throw to, but we're running it back with the same receiver core plus Parris Campbell. Is that enough?
Well, you got to see how the rest of the offseason plays out still before.
Yeah.
Like, because you never know what happens. Like, I'm sure you guys didn't expect the Darren Waller trade for to happen. We were all making jokes saying they might sign like a Dalton Schultz or a Mike Gesicki to like a long-term contract, and that would have been a bad move in our opinion. But you got to see what happens, what they do in the draft, the rest of the offseason. So we'll see.
Donald was saying as of right now, and I got to say it's not enough. It's like a C wide receiver room.
Yeah.
Tight end obviously has been sufficient. You have Waller, you have Bellinger. You can draft a tight end if you want to be that third guy. But right now, if you're talking, listen, this is not a part of the Daniel Jones argument. I promise you it's not. But if you're paying the guy $40 million and there's people out there saying, he didn't have weapons to throw to you last year and he made the best use of them down the line, well, you need to give that quarterback some weapons. And, I'm not slamming the Giants. This might come off as like reactionary, whatever, as an outside fan. But Slayton, Shepard, listen, Campbell can line up as one of your top three receivers. That's fine. He could probably be your 2 or 3. But what has really improved in that wide receiver room? That's just a fair question to ask, and it's a justified question because you guys have the money to sign. It's just that it's going to get interesting. I know the wide receiver room's not great in terms of the free agency market. What was there? I still think Hardman's out there. I don't know what his price tag is, so obviously that's interesting. But I think there's more left to do. But not exactly groundbreaking.
Yeah, definitely. So real quickly, guys, we are at 20 likes. How about we push for 30? Start doing that a little bit.
Let's go.
Keep pushing. But I want to read the chat before I give my thoughts on.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Do you guys like? I'm just saying this. I know the Jets already signed him, Lazard. Do you think you guys could have used a big body run blocker like him in the wide receiver room?
No.
As a run blocker?
To be completely transparent, I don't give a crap about run blockers. And you know what? We talk about these big body guys. First of all, Darren Waller is kind of a big body. Second of all, I know he can't block. But like Kenny Galladay was a big body run blocker, and they found no way to incorporate him in the offense and vice versa. T. Higgins, like it's just not what this offense goes for. It's just not what this offense really incorporates and what it needs. So I'm not saying you have to sit there and draft 157-pound receivers at the level of 5'9", but just also once again, and Darren has a point. Shep is a good run blocker when healthy. So, and you know what? The Giants will have 2 tight end sets. It's not like they're going to sit here and do all these different things. But no, I don't think the big body receiver need is. Maybe later, like you draft an Acevis or one of these other guys. But I just don't think it's what this offense requires.
I have the market, well, not what Hardman actually wants, but the market price projected for Hardman. Would you guys pay him $10.3 million annually?
No.
Bad
Slayton is getting 6. Parris Campbell's getting 3. He's right in line with Parris Campbell, if you want my opinion. Slightly a little bit, because he's getting $3 million. I mean, they basically have had the same career. Just one has been on a good team.
I'm good with the Campbell signing. What do you think about re-signing Darius Slayton?
Good thing, Donald. That was our next topic. Here's what I'll say about the wide receiver room before I cross into the Slayton subject. Is there a talent gap that is being shortened between the Giants and the rest of the division, not including the Washington, whatever their names are? No. I don't think the Giants have made any significant moves that kind of pulls us closer to those guys. Now, maybe you get a guy like A'Shaun Robinson. He improves the run defense. Darren Waller obviously does wonders for you. Adds someone that's relevant other than Saquon Barkley. What the Giants have done with the wide receiver room, and if they obviously, once again, if they don't draft at least 2 wide receivers, one early, I'd be a little bit disappointed. But I kind of like what they're doing with the wide receiver room. I'm going to take a look at it real quick, and I'm going to go over it. The reason why I like what Shane's doing is he's getting a lot of prove-it guys, but they're not total bums. They've kind of proven a little bit of something in their career. You look at last year's wide receiver room, right? There's a what if of Kadarius Toney, what if of Kenny Galladay. You had Richie, obviously Sterling Shepard. Can he stay healthy? Which is kind of the same thing now that we re-signed him, which is at vet minimum. Richie James, I mean, we thought of him just, okay, he's a punt returner. That's it. And then he exploded in camp. And then obviously he had his inconsistencies on the field. We ended up picking Isaiah Hodgins up because the wide receiver room was just crunching with injuries, Wan'Dale Robinson. And then boom, it was practice squad players from there, the Makai Polks of the world and all these different guys. But now you look at the wide receiver room, you have a couple of notable names out there. Slayton is re-signed. I kind of like that, to be honest, and I'll evaluate in just a second. Parris Campbell, it's a prove-it deal. Colin Johnson, you can't really rely on too much, but he's not that expensive coming off of an Achilles injury. Isaiah Hodgins is coming back. Wan'Dale's coming back from an injury. So am I going to say it's fully fixed? No, but I'm going to say that there's more, at least proven depth than we've had in years. Doesn't mean they should stop building. And to the resort to the Darius Slayton subject, I like it. I think he's getting, $4 million this year or $6 million this year, whatever the number is, and Jeff Smith too. He's more of a special teamer. But along the lines of Darius Slayton, I like the move. Obviously it's 2 years. I got to see the contract structure a little bit. He's a guy that Daniel Jones knows and trusts. He's a guy that could take a top off the defense when he's not dropping passes, kind of like Parris Campbell can, except, it's about injuries with him. So I don't mind it. I personally don't mind it. I made a video back in November about them should we resign Slayton and all that sort of stuff. I'm not disappointed he's back because it adds at least to the bottom of our roster. And you know what? If some of these guys don't make the roster, you either trade them or you cut them. So those are my thoughts.
Again, it's all acceptable to be depth guys, but you don't want them to be starting.
No. Yeah, of course. You don't want to rely on, all these different guys. So I say, go get 2 receivers in the draft, 1 early, preferably. My mindset there has not changed, though you have no starting centers on this roster. You need to get that done in the first 2 rounds. You cannot trust Ben Bredesen or somebody else to play center. That just can't happen. And I know Joe Shane will draft the center. They have been linked to John Michael Schmitz. But Donald, I know you were, I would say, a little disappointed that they brought back Darius Slayton.
Yeah, I was ready to move on. I think his drops are a problem, and they were a problem all playoffs. He really let Daniel Jones down. Now, you really helped Daniel Jones during the year, first half of the year. I think second half of the year, he really dropped off. And in the playoffs, he was completely a non-factor. In fact, you could make the argument that he was a negative out there. I didn't like. I mean, I give Darius Slayton immense credit for the fact that he was a dude who the organization, the new front office didn't really rate, new coaching staff didn't really pay any attention to. Yet he worked his way to being our number one wide receiver for about 2/3 of the year. And he deserves immense credit for that. I think he's durable. I think he's fast. I think he's a decent route runner. I think he's a decent dude, and I think he's fine. But you're the money that we paid him, which is over $6 million each, and the fact that we don't have an outside corner, we don't have a safety, we don't have a center. Re-signing a mid receiver who we easily could replace in the draft a couple times over. I would have allocated that money to safety. I would have gone after Gardner Johnson or even Poyer. I think that would have made more sense to me because I don't love the safeties in this draft. I mean, I like a couple of them. I like Jamie Robinson, but is Jamie Robinson going to be available like at 57 or 80 something? Probably not. So I'm not sure if that's the case. Plus, we need to bring in a center. Plus, we need another receiver. So, considering we're kind of at the limit and we haven't extended Leonard Williams' contract yet, we're a little bit up against it in the cap. Would I have used that money for Slayton? No. I think I would have had better use of that money. I've been a little bit concerned by how much we're focusing on bringing everyone back. My biggest problem is not Slayton, though. It was Jamie Gillen. We've overpaid for a bad punter. There was no market to pay him over $5 million over a couple of years. I mean, this is not a good punter. You could easily have looked at the punter market after post-June cuts. Like, there was really no rush to bring Jamie Gillen back. And we had to rush and do it prior to free agency. And that's valuable money that stopped us from getting important positions like corner and safety and maybe a better receiver or center. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think that was the biggest misjudgment of money, misalignment of funds. There's never any need to rush to bring in a punter, especially a bad one. So that was my biggest issue.
Free agency move.
Absolutely unacceptable in my opinion.
Just want to get to some comments here. I want to get to this one. X says we are apparently far off. What guys in the draft are 6'2" and run a 4'3"?
Well, it's about depth. I'm sure there are guys like you guys could have drafted Jonathan Mingo? He could be like that Darius Slayton role, whoever. Darius Slayton's skill set's very replaceable. It's not hard to replace what he does.
Right. But also, once again, to kind of counter that a little bit, and listen, as I said, I didn't mind bringing back Slayton. He is more proven than what you could take the time in developing another guy. But once again, we'll see how it plays out. Gillen made me eat my hat multiple times. That was probably if you had to critique Joe Shane, that was probably the worst move. I don't really understand.
Scottish Hammer.
Maybe he'll do an opposite, and when he gets paid, he actually does good. I know I say this a lot. Have a good night, Jeffrey. I know I say this a lot, but we need a hog in the middle, and almost all Midwest centers always pan out. Creed Humphrey and the center in Baltimore, Tyler Linderbaum, Jason Kelsey. Midwest centers, yeah. John Michael Schmitz is a Midwest center.
Wasn't Dickerson a center?
Dickerson came from Bama.
Midwest, South. Well,
I think Dickerson was a guard.
I thought he was a center before he became a guard.
Jamie Gillen. This is another good name.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Scottish shitbag. He is absolute shitbag.
Never heard
absolutely useless.
Which one were we referring to?
You can find a Scotsman in a pub, and he would have kicked better than Jamie Gillen.
Put me out there.
He could have signed Matt Amendola, and he would have been better. The one game he punted for the Jets, and he was like, wow.
Could I offer you guys an interest in Braden Mann?
He is being put up for
John. Do you want to get ejected?
Better than Jamie Gillen.
That's not saying
much.
I
would not take my my stock into Braden Mann. But you can't diminish the trust and the chemistry DJ and Slayton. Yeah, listen, that's why I said, I didn't mind bringing him back because of the word chemistry there. But once again, all things have to prove themselves at the end of the day. Am I the only one who doesn't believe corner is as big of a need as everybody else? It just depends who's there, really. It depends who's there at 25 in the second round.
Right. First round, obviously, you guys want Joey Porter Jr., but do you really trust Aaron Robinson on the outside?
No. It's not going to be Aaron Robinson. I can promise you that. I can literally bet you $25 going into training camp. It's probably going to be Cordell Flott. My opinion.
But wouldn't he fare better as your slot guy, and then you could cut Darnay Holmes? I know I'm just an outsider fan suggesting, but still, isn't that?
They will draft a corner at some point, but I don't think
they have to draft a corner. There's still multiple needs on this team, so
yeah. It needs to be addressed within the first 3 picks, though, because as Donald and I mentioned a huge amount of times, it just drops off. It just drops off to depth. When Adoree got hurt, we almost didn't make the postseason. That's absolutely correct. You have to keep in mind Adoree, as much as we like him, he is injury prone, whatever it's his fault or not. He's talking about a corner being a huge need. Also, as far as run blocking, we have Colin Johnson, don't we? Someone brought up Shepard. I don't think that's like a big need. It's like, we need a run blocking wide receiver. I just don't value that big body type of guy. Johnson is kind of different because he's a big body. He's like 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", but he's got speed. That's what we saw last year in the preseason. That's why we liked him so much. Cornerback is big, of course.
Cornerback is absolutely a necessity because it's the key to making Wink Martindale's blitz-heavy defense a success. You need lockdown man corners, and that is just a fact. So we've got one. We need another. Flop, maybe, but you want someone who's been more proven. So, and you probably want someone a little bigger frame than Flott as well.
He's a slot guy.
He's a slot guy, in my opinion. So, we have to attack corner, and I would have prioritized him more in free agency. There's not really anyone now that I would go after. So, at this stage, we have to go all in the draft. Maybe we're looking first round now, in my opinion. Maybe second round.
Let me ask you this: there's 2 free agents, or 3 at least I have my eyes on. Alex doesn't want this guy. That's William Jackson. There's also Byron Jones, who's also had a few concussions. Would you guys sign Marcus Peters? His projected value is about at least $9 million a year, close to 10.
Shout out Sox.
I don't know that I would pay Marcus Peters.
You wouldn't take the gamble?
I'm very much of the conservative young mindset now. I just don't know that I would pay Marcus Peters. Like, he's getting up there in age. Is it him or Marlon Humphrey that has like the locker room concerns? Which, I know obviously this is a whole different regime, but I don't know. I just don't feel as positively on it. He probably's got good stats, and if they bring him in, I won't be mad because that's another sure thing. Either cornerback or John Michael Schmitz. No, I don't think they re-signed Moreau. If anything, it's a prove-it deal, kind of like it was last year. He served his purpose and then started getting burnt. I'd take Byron Jones, barring his health, because he's going to be a huge discount. That's true. He was on the market when Bradbury was 2020.
Go ahead, read the comment. Go ahead.
And what happens if Adoree gets injured again? He's also probably not getting re-signed. I think we're leaving this draft with a corner, if not 2.
It's a fair comment.
As I was actually about to say, with all these comments suggesting, what up, Sox? Suggesting about all the needs you guys have. Remember, I've been saying this for a little while now, just from the outsider looking in. Wideouts need interior offensive line, corner, maybe now safety with Julian Love gone. You guys have been talking about linebacker for a little, although even though you got Okereke, you might need another one. But it's going to be very interesting to see what the Giants do here because, you can go a number of different routes, but you got to make sure it's the fucking right route. Because, you take a John Michael Schmitz in the first round, you're not getting a wide out or a corner round 2. So it is interesting to see it and vice versa.
Right. Mm-hmm. Just a lot of different scenarios. Going to go back to the upper comments a little bit, but Max, I agree with him. Just saying, I don't think we need to reach in the first round for corner. As I said, depends who's there. If it's the guy who's valued in the second round, you don't take him. Needs to draft corner, center, wide receiver. Yep, pretty much. Unless
And
one of those top
safety.
guys fall. Safety, I wouldn't do premium picks. I'd do mid round, kind of like what we did with Julian Love. I don't think us contending under next year. I think I'm trying to. Maybe I misread that.
He says he doesn't see us contending next year as you guys.
I say about. I'm still saying about 9 wins right now. If you ask me based on this roster, I say 9 wins. That's just my fair opinion.
At best,
At best. Maybe I'm wrong, but once
If
again,
we're looking at the East, like objectively, do I think we have a chance of getting closer to the Eagles? No. But do I think that we've done enough to match up with the Cowboys? Yeah, I actually do. I think there should be a fight for second place in the division. I think we could possibly take it. Washington, I'm not worried about. So, yeah, it's been an incremental improvement already. So that's a positive thing. And we've not even attacked the draft. And so, yeah, I think we'll compete. And at the moment, with a good draft, I say, yeah, we'll make the playoffs with 9 wins.
Yeah. If you want to talk about not that big of a need, I think safety is that big of a need. I think we could take a safety rounds 5th and 6th. And Pinnock was solid, and Belton was solid when McKinney got injured. This is totally true. DC has a bad habit of making late runs. That's definitely true. I think we can close the gap a bit with the Cowboys, just not the Eagles. 9 wins, how schedules are going to be super hard. I don't think it's going to be as hard as everybody says it is. Like the Rams we're facing, they're going to be a little bit in free fall. The Seahawks, I mean, they're kind of the same team. I mean, that's obviously we do our schedule predictions in May, but I think 9 wins if I look at the schedule right now. It's partly why I think dropping on a wide receiver one may not be the focus because we still got a lot of needs. That's definitely true. I meant to say linebacker. Linebacker, I wouldn't take premium unless there's certain guys that I have a little bit of a bias for. Shouts to Rob from Nerding Out Sports. If you haven't already, go subscribe to Nerding Out Sports in the description. And by the way, also, Angry John has a new Twitter. Please put that. Please follow that. That's in the description, of course.
Professor Angry John Twitter.
Professor. Angry John.
That's Professor to all of you. And guys, the Knicks are now down by 4. They've literally climbed back in this game. They are on fire right now.
I knew they would. I actually think safety is actually more of a priority than you think because Julian Love had over 100 tackles. So who's going to make up that 100 tackles that we're going to miss? If we don't go premium at corner and we don't go premium at safety, then I'm sorry, you're going to have to go premium one of those positions.
Cornerback more likely because like safety – I mean, I just don't. Unless Brian Branch falls to you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's only one first-round safety. There's only one first-round safety, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, spread the cap money to fill depth this year and hopefully find a diamond in the rough like we did with Hodgins. 2024, we get some big names. Yeah.
The wide receiver, I was going to say the wide receiver room in 2024 is very top-heavy. You guys got Michael Thomas. You have Tyler Boyd. You have... I was just looking at Michael Thomas, Tyler Boyd, CeeDee Lamb, if his option's not picked up, which it probably will be. So that's like a quick preview. Obviously, they might get extended, but who knows?
Seahawks with Julian Love. We're going to beat the Jets for sure. Oh, that's going to be an interesting topic down the line. If they get Rodgers, down the line, we'll get closer to that game. But
I'm going to take notes. now.
I see the Eagles lost lots of players. The receipts. If the Rams fall, do you think do you make a call for Cooper Kupp at the trade deadline, pre-trade deadline? Do we make? Depends how far we are. If we're like last year, you might, but then again, I don't know. X thinks we are a 11-win team next year.
11? Wow, that's very generous if you ask me.
They got a third. Listen, you guys got a third place schedule, but I will say that I'm not sure if about 11 wins, but 9 wins sounds, again, we'll do a schedule.
There'll be 1 or 2 wins. Like we could sit here and say, okay, there'll be a 7-8 win team next year, but the Dable coaching staff will put +2 on that. It's kind of like a morale thing. Bad defense, my guy. If we can stay healthy, I don't see us not being at least a 9 to 10 win team. Also, We didn't have linebackers, so Love played in the box a lot. That's a good point. It's a good point, Max. Now we have Bobby Okereke. Safeties suck unless you have a lot, Reed or Polamalu.
Not exactly true. It's not valued as much, but like take an example for the Jets defense last year. Their strongness was their defensive front and their corners. Once they stopped attacking the corners, once the opposing offenses said, we can't attack Sauce or Reed, they attacked the linebackers and safeties. We got carved up. So safety is valuable if your corners are not good.
Yeah. I mean, just look how great Gardner Johnson was. He was absolutely imperative to the Eagles defense. I think they're going to really miss him. He was phenomenal last year. For me, he was the best safety in the game last year.
Hayes says, my prediction is that we draft a lineman in the first round. Booyah's right. If you haven't hit the like button yet, hit the like button. Let's see. We are at
about 27
of
We've got 22 likes, I believe.
Yep. Shouts to Tudo in the chat. What is going on, Tudo? Greetings. Sup, Tudo. Dexy loves hugging Rodgers. I'm not scared, but I know Rodgers is traumatized. He filled out a restraining order.
Okay.
We get to 10 wins.
I'm taking notes on all of y'all. I'm taking notes on all of y'all now.
Update on the WBC. Arozarena has made another great catch with the bases loaded. A running grab and left. He's also caught a ball at the wall. He also jumped over the wall and caught a ball. He is having an unbelievable day on defense. He's probably saved Mexico about 5 runs.
I think your mic's cutting out a tad.
Shit. But what did you hear?
We heard everything. It was just like spliced. I feel like we're focusing on stopping the run to force the pass, which fits Wings blitz heavy defense. We need more reason to get a solid corner. Just saying you could live without a stellar safety. No, I absolutely agree.
Guys, Julius Randle's at 48 points right now. He is fucking firing right now. It's 99-98 Minnesota, but Jesus Christ, Randle's heating up. I didn't mean to interrupt, but
it's all right. Bill says, "Oof, check the cap on Cup. That's worth the conversation." Well, you know what?
Break Melo's record?
What is Melo's record? Because I heard
62
Matt
in the Garden.
62.
Okay. All right. Cornerback and center are the biggest focus. No, Sox. First of all, Pepsi doesn't suck, so I know your favorite is Dr. Pepper. So you're kind of wrong on that one. Second of all, if we don't get to 30 at some point, we're going to make everybody watch Cocaine Bear and do a summary about it. Okay?
That's not a problem. I want to see Cocaine Bear.
That should be a live stream.
It's just a stupid premise.
Don't you want to see it?
I'll see it.
Yeah.
Stupid premise for a movie. Donald, are you a car salesman? LOL. I think we're drafting a safety. I just don't think we're making a big investment because I don't think it's a big of a need. Donald, turning Terminator. I'll get to my messages at some point. I don't answer them during streams. What was I going to say? So last we were on Slayton, and
we talked about corner and safety.
Talked about corner a little bit. We talked about safety. So a couple more subjects. We'll move to the Jets, talk about prospect of the week, and then go from there. Jeff Smith, I mean, there's nothing to talk about. See, I knew it. I knew it sucks. Then
I don't take note into or take. I take it with a grain of salt. His
oh my God, Randall,
51. He's got 51. He's got the ball. They got the ball back right now. They're down by 2.
I guess my movie opinions don't matter, though. Well, I'll trust your movie opinion this time. About cocaine.
No.
Anyway, nothing to really talk about with the Jeff Smith signing. We already discussed Leonard Johnson a little bit.
I'll give you a hint on Jeff Smith. Nothing.
Yes, nothing.
Special teams. Special teams. That's all we could say, right? But with that being said, the last 2 things we'll talk about in terms of the Giants and turn over to the Jets. A'Shawn Robinson. I think I am praying that the Giants actually sign him. Now, he was signed to a 2-year contract by the Rams in, I think, 2020 or 21. He earned about $5 million, which is less than what Slayton is getting annually. I would love that because I know there's been some talk, you get rid of Leo, this, that, and the other thing. No, you don't need to do that. It just freshens it. A'Shawn Robinson is not a guy that's going to get you 10 sacks a year or 5 or even 3 for that matter, but stout run defense. Like they signed Okereke because of his play against the run. Is he a Mike? Probably not, but in this defense, he could be. A'Shawn Robinson, Raheem Nunez-Roches. I mean, he's a guy that
What they
stops
call
the
him,
run
Nacho?
pretty well. Nacho, yes. Yeah, or as we would say to Cowboy fans, Nacho year. Anyway, pretty corny for that one. But back to the A'Shawn Robinson thing, I'm really looking forward to see how this visit goes, and I don't think he should leave the building without a deal. My opinion, I know it's $5 million for depth, but you don't have to draft a Jacqueline Roy or a Jomo, all these different guys in the draft high and early if you get a guy like A'Shawn Robinson. Now, last year he came off an injury. This year, we hope for better. And then you know what? If he's injured, he's not the guy. Raheem Nunez-Roches is behind him. DJ Davidson is behind him. Ryder Anderson's behind him. So it starts to fill itself out a little bit. Donald, your thoughts on the whole A'Shawn Robinson thing?
Agreed. I love it. How's my mic?
Still a little jittery, but I could hear what you're saying.
I love it. If you add him, Leo, Roches, that's 3 of the top 30 graded run defenders in the league.
Okay. You finished what you're saying? Because I didn't know if you were done or whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Any outsider thoughts on the A'Shawn Robinson thing?
I think it'd be a good deal for the Giants in terms of a run defense. You guys got buried in the run. Like the depth after Dexter Lawrence isn't much.
Angry John?
I think it fills a need. It takes care of something that you don't really need to address now. You can stop the run, which can obviously help out with your depth. A good rotational piece, if you ask me. Nothing too major.
I mean, but will we be mad if we sign OBJ $17 million, 2-year deal with an out year, 1 year, $8 million guaranteed, and $4 million 2023 cap hit? I'm over the OBJ experience. I am. I'm not taking any more bait. LPG says apparently that's license plate guy, the Giants fanatic. He's the super fan. He says that the Giants are not one of those teams that are the last 2 contenders for Odell Beckham Jr. So there's that. I don't know with our coordinator. Imagine if Jeff Smith got a touchdown versus the Jets. That would.
They're really trying to manifest this shit. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I'm getting receipts on y'all. I am getting receipts on
I
y'all.
really want Aaron Rodgers now, but I don't want to be hopeful. Because I know if I'm hopeful, it's gonna fucking bite me in the ass.
it's the fucking Packers that are being pussies about. I'm sorry. What do you call it?
You could still no. It's past 30 minutes. You could curse again.
That's it.
They're being assholes about it. That's what I meant to say.
You could have said pussies. Anyway, Nacho. Just because we're playing the Jets, I want to see him get 1 snap in the red zone and score. Yeah, Jeff Smith, or you get a fumble recovery touchdown. He's a special teamer too. Alex is just a corny guy. That's why we like him. Let's see. We need to help reserve energy for Big Cat and Sexy Dex. Yes, we don't want them playing 100% of the snaps because their bodies cannot take it. And hope everything is okay, Jeffrey. You have to be going to the Giants-Jets game. I want to see what prices look like in May when that schedule comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully, if those
I have a proposition. Monday Night Football opening week 1, 9/11 Giants-Jets at MetLife.
I would go to that game.
Well, Luca, you have to be smart, and the NFL schedule makers aren't that smart. So
it's probably just mostly computer generated. But then again, like Seahawks and Broncos, there's probably variables in that. I mean, to be honest, I'm not quite sure. I guess Donald is readjusting his mic. But I guess the final thing we could touch on before we move to the Rodgers subject, and guys, keep your questions, keep your comments coming. 25 likes. Let's get to 30. Let's get to 30 by 9:40. Is that too much to ask? We got 5 more likes. We got 15 minutes. Let's do it. Anyway, before Donald comes back, talent gap between the Giants and the rest of the division, not counting the Washington, whatever the hell their names are. I'll start with Luca.
What do you mean? What do you mean in terms of talent cap? Do I think
Like,
there's still
how much is there an improvement? How much, like all that sort of stuff?
it's incremental, if everything. It's like this much. I don't think they got to do more in the draft. They obviously the Eagles have lost some players. They lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They lost Javon Hargraves. They lost T.J. Edwards. They lost a few players. Samelo on their offensive line. But you know what? You know what makes me confident that the Eagles are going to be up there still is the drafting. They've drafted really well. So, and I also don't think that the Giants have any explosive weapons on offense. The Cowboys do, the Eagles do. Obviously, have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, obviously for the Eagles. For the Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb. Other than that, there's not really much, to be honest. Brandon Cooks, maybe. But I still think, there's a sizable gap.
Okay. Max says, "I'll get the tickets to go if Luca goes." So
I'll go.
Laugh when the G
We'll go. We're gonna go.
We're not.
We're
it's
going.
just we're not going to be around Alex. We're not going to be around Alex.
What do I have, cooties or something?
No, we're going to be partying with our guys.
Okay, so hold on. We're going to press the timeout button here. What if we do a meetup? Then you'd have to hang out with us.
If it was a Big Blue in the Bronx meetup, sure. But
all right, we'll do that.
I'd also want to chill with some of my Jet guys if they are there. If they are there,
I think he just wants to really finally learn how to shotgun.
No. I've quit shotgunning. I've quit shotgunning.
He quit. A quitter. Let's see. Great podcast, gents. Keep it up. Do you like Waller as the tight end? That I do. I thought it was an awesome trade at the time. Will the Jets make the playoffs with Rodgers? That's what you would expect. That's what you would expect.
I never expect it. Remember, read the shirt. Read the shirt. So close.
No, I would expect it. In all honesty, without John's pessimism, I would expect the Jets to make the playoffs. So let's be real.
What do you mean by pessimism?
It is pessimism.
They haven't made it for 12 years. What do you mean?
I mean, should not the John? What are we going to lower the bar so low now? I mean, come on.
Yeah, we've stopped.
Whatever.
Are you girls done?
I can't reason. I can't reason.
You can't. What do you mean you can't? You can't reason with me because they haven't made the postseason.
I'm not. But we have to set the bar a little higher here, folks. When you have Aaron Rodgers and you have to build the team around him, you should go to the playoffs.
I understand that logic, and I'm praying they go to the playoffs. I understand, but they haven't done it, man.
I'm not saying they have, but it's the expectation. We have to have higher expectations. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying you can't.
I would like to. No, I would like to, but unfortunately, they haven't proven to me that they deserve it.
We'll see. That's not a conversation. That's not a conversation I'm having now.
Are you guys done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, I'll move on. I might go to the Giants-Pats game with my friend you met. Yes, I forget his name, but I remember meeting him at MOY News TV Day. He's a Pats fan. Pats Yankees fan?
That's like Joe.
Oh, that's like a Killer Joe, who I'll be seeing in like a week and a half.
It's like Brian, just random teams.
That's just disgusting.
We need to sit here and address for 2 seconds. We need to address what Brian did on Instagram. First of all, let's explain this to the chat. All right, shouts to Jeff Nelson in the chat as well. So if you guys are new here, we have this guy on. We have our friend Brian on, who is he's got a weird combination of teams. He's got the Tampa Bay Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Florida Hurricanes, and the New York Yankees.
The Florida Panthers.
Florida Panthers.
The New York Mets.
And partially the New York Mets because he has a Max Scherzer jersey for whatever reason I do not know. So for months he talked about how Baker Mayfield was better than Daniel Jones and he was not that bad of a quarterback, whatever, right? So his take started wearing down a little bit. And guess what happens? It's something called karma. I think you guys have heard of it. And the Bucks went out and signed Baker Mayfield. So instead of being like, okay, this guy sucks, which he actually does, he goes out on Instagram and goes, "Let Baker bake," with a loaf of bread emoji.
All I'm gonna say is, look, if he lets Baker bake with his team, he's gonna burn the whole house down. All right, there ain't no baking that's gonna be done.
Brian's also reportedly. Brian's reportedly
ahead.
also said that, Baker's no excuses now.
Baker didn't have excuses in 2019 when he had Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb. I mean,
who do they have? David Njoku and I think Austin Hooper, or was that 2020?
I don't know, but he still had they still love to build in the excuses, I say. Who has the better team, Jets or the Giants? Until they get Rodgers, I'm still saying the Giants.
Baker played with such small dick energy. Like, that is the worst flex I have ever heard in my entire life.
I'm on with Donald on this one.
Yeah, we're all in agreement here. Let Baker bake.
What else is up? Let Gardner garden? Like, I mean, that's so shit.
Oh God,
I wouldn't say the
let Russ
Giants,
cook.
But again, that's like Brian was trying to make a stupid pun,
and it failed successfully. Successfully failed.
I think that's the perfect Brian joke.
Yeah. So we'll make sure to have it like John has the PhD in understanding. We're gonna put let Baker bake.
No, let Brian bake. Let Brian bake.
That's his name. Thank you, Evan. Kareem Hunt was also on that team as well, and
yes, he was.
He still stunk. Yep.
Offensive line, Joel Bitonio, Jack Conklin, all those different guys.
Yep. To answer your question, Max, it is going to be at MetLife Stadium. It will be the Jets and the Jets and the Pats at MetLife. Well, obviously the Jets would be at MetLife, but the Giants are home for those games in Buffalo and then in Miami. So, and I've gotten the toss around of the offer of going to Miami, which we'll talk about obviously when the schedule comes out and all these different things. Because they play in Miami this year, and we all know we love that trip. And I don't know why he's a Pats fan. Oh, it's an interesting combo. Giants got Waller and Alex became I'm not. That's typical Brad. That's typical Brad.
What did I miss about the 2-pump jump?
I don't know. That's Brad's stuff.
Is there something I need to know?
I mean, this is Brad being Brad. There's no explanation. We know Brad's reputation. It's always to pick on. It's the top two of us. It's not really Luca or John yet, but he's gone after Donald. Remember, he's saying him look like a.
I get it. I get it mostly from Hayes, man. Hayes comes after me.
Yeah. We're gonna invite Great Value Prince if we go to the Dolphins Giants game. You know what? We gotta give him a special invite. We gotta give him a special invite and then just like ditch him.
I ain't inviting him.
Let Rob do the inviting.
Yeah, you know what, Rob? It's your idea. You and Nate finalize this and then let us know the details. So great thinking, Rob. Just that's not really our idea. That's your idea. You want to bring him along, show him what football is, and he won't have to. He might like when Donald shows up. But anyway, what team do you think will be the hardest you guys have to play this year? Oh, that's interesting. He says absolutely not. Well, you brought it up. So, I mean, let's see. Giants schedule. The 49ers are in competition for that. I'd say the Niners, the Bills, or the Eagles. My opinion. Okay, so now we're taking shots at the bottom guys. Luca and John have Rodgers induced blue balls.
Nope. Now he's coming after us because you had to say something.
Yes.
I'm going to thank Alex for that one.
Yes. Hey, listen.
Judging by Luca's reaction, I don't think he's got blue balls. I think he exploded his balls.
What? With Luca's reaction?
With Rodgers?
He was.
Yeah. At least he admits it. It's good.
Yeah. No, like we could transition because, like, I remember he was like we were supposed to go out that day. Center situation is getting scary. I do agree with you, Chris. I think they'll take that in the premium. He's gotten scarier. Javon Hargrave, I do agree with that. But I was staying up like real late that night. And then I obviously woke up at like 1 o'clock, and of course, Luca put on the Pat McAfee show. So I'm like,
I was
know
sitting
what he's
right in
doing.
front of the TV.
Right in front of the TV,
a red chair.
like a 7-year-old watching Saturday morning fucking cartoons. So
And I also had Matt O'Leary on my laptop because he was
he
live
also had a
streaming.
Jets content creator on his laptop. And then, obviously the way Rodgers is and the way most guys are, they're very indirect at first. And then he says his intention is to play for the New York Jets. And you would have thought that Jesus had landed because he started bouncing around the house, jumping around the house, screaming Super Bowl. This is no lies, everybody. This is not an overreaction. That's what Luca was literally doing. You want to tell us about this?
I knocked down. I was jumping around the house. I mean, the Jets have made themselves look like fools over the past couple of years. Hopefully that changes, obviously. But anyways, in regards to me jumping around the house, one of the things I did was what do you call it? What do you call
Smoke
it?
detector.
Now, smoke detector actually detached from the ceiling. That's how bad I was jumping around the house. Then I went outside screaming. Some people started to look at me, and then I gave them a death stare because obviously they didn't know what was going on, and I didn't really care for death stares because I was so happy. I'm still happy now. I'm obviously less worried about the Rodgers situation, in my humble opinion. I think it's right now up to the Packers to stop being petty, to realize that they're not getting a first round pick. Rich Eisen had a great quote today. He was doing his normal show. I'm going to pull up the quote. He was doing his normal show. He was talking about the Jets-Packers situation. He says, "To my fellow Jets fans, relax. The Jets need Rodgers. Rodgers wants to play for the Jets. And go Pack go, the Packers need Rodgers gone. As soon as Green Bay accepts that they are not getting a first-round pick, the trade will happen, and we can move forward towards Jordan Love joining Jets quarterback in 15 years.
I think that's a good assessment.
Listen,
how much will the Jets have to give up? I don't think they're going to give up a first. I don't think they'll give in to that.
If anything, if it's going to be like with the first-round pick, it's going to be a first-round pick swap, in my opinion, where the Jets get 15, the Green Bay gets 13. I wouldn't mind that necessarily. It's moving 2 picks back, but in my humble opinion, it's going to be a third-round pick and a second-round conditional pick next year that could be eventually a first-round pick. So that's how I feel about the situation. I'm not worried. I think it'll get done this week. Trey Wingo was absolutely right. Aaron Rodgers made his decision on Friday, and the trade was then. So good job to Trey Wingo. And fuck all those frauds named Rappaport and Schefter and Fowler. For all the speculation, y'all are frauds. And so is Adam Schefter, because we obviously had that tweet that he posted. He even posted the tweet saying with Aaron Rodgers saying, lose my number.
Lose my number.
John, what were your thoughts and what were your first reaction to hear when Aaron Rodgers said he wanted to play for the Jets?
It was stunning. I haven't heard anyone want to play for us since Jesus was born. All right. This is the greatest news I've ever heard of this damn organization. Okay. All right. You don't understand how happy I was for once in my lifetime. All right. There's a guy who's arguably one of the best QBs in the past decade. All right. Wanting, just straight out said on Pat McAfee's show, he wants to come play for us, the Jets, the team that's been dog shit for 12 years, okay? He wants to play for my football team. Luca, if the Jets get Rodgers, I'll concede your point and say they probably on paper should make the playoffs.
No, right. I agree.
I am 100% in agreement with you. I didn't want you to think that I was poo-pooing on them.
No, I understand. I understand.
And you understand why I'm pessimistic.
No, I understand.
He understands, John. He understands.
He understands. We made it happen, ladies and gents.
History, folks.
History. Anywho, I honestly, well, first off, one thing that was overlooked, the Alan Lazard signing.
Very good.
That
I got some run blocking film on him once you're done.
All right, that's fine. I think he's a perfect big body receiver for this team. That means Elijah Moore can get the hell out of here via trade. I'm sorry. Corey Davis. Excuse me, Corey Davis. He can get the hell out of here. Elijah Moore, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that to you. Corey Davis can get the hell out of here. All right, we don't need you anymore. you're now a waste of space on the roster, so we don't want you here anymore. But with Lazard, he's that big body receiver that's gonna, be really tough to knock down. Good run blocker, like Lucas said, and he complements Wilson and Moore well because those are the speed guys and over the top. And we need that possession that can get maybe a 50-50 ball inside and make the tough catches. But also with this Aaron Rodgers, whenever this trade does happen, that means there's no more Zach Wilson. Okay? The end of the era after 2 seasons is done. I am so happy because this dude is actual garbage. He really thought that he was going to outplay the veteran that they brought in this year. Let me tell you something. He couldn't outplay the 4 of us combined. All right? Any one of us. He could have picked. All right? I could have thrown left-handed blindfolded, and I still would have had more passes completed than him. So, toodaloo to you, Zach Wilson. You're actual garbage. Okay? And Aaron Rodgers, please, I beg you, because there is no hope if they don't get him, Luca. There is no hope whatsoever. They will be worse than last year, in my humble opinion.
In my humble opinion, the Packers have no leverage. And let's detail this because this was the word of the week last week. Leverage. Who has leverage? I don't want to define leverage because everybody knows what that is. Why Packers fans have the Jets in their head rent free, I have no clue why. Especially that cuck Peter Bukowski, who lives in New York, but I don't care for him because he's like he constantly tweets about the Jets. He's this locked on Packers guy who's a complete imbecile and and he's an insult to humanity by the way he talks on Twitter. First of all, to all the Packer fans, I respected you until this whole negotiation started. Y'all have no leverage because your owner has came out there and said that your team's ready to move on from Aaron Rodgers. Your quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, or your past quarterback, because we're talking the past tense, has even confirmed your intentions of moving on from him. So, and he's also taken your organization to the woodshed by saying, before the darkness retreat, the Packers wanted to stay with him. After the darkness retreat, they're like, okay, we're gonna find some way to move you this offseason. So you have no leverage. Are the Packers in a rush to get this deal done? I say yes and no. They can wait till the draft. But I will also add this. If they wait till after the draft, it's pointless to trade him because, A, you're not getting picks until next year. You're not getting picks for this year. So it would be pointless to trade him after the draft. And if you do end up not trying to trade him after the draft, if you end up still having him after the draft, it's a big distraction because you're going to have your eyes focused on Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers is going to try his best to get out of there, whether we like it or not. So this idea that all these the national media folks and all these idiots out there saying the Jets have no leverage and the Packers have all the leverage makes no sense. It's amazing how many people can insult your intelligence in one day or 1 week. It's just imbeciles. And another thing that pisses me off.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yes, I'm gonna tell all of you how I really feel. Funny, this is a bad move for the Jets that people are some criticizing that Aaron Rodgers is this terrible human being. But if it was for another organization, it would be like, oh, well, they're getting this great human being, a great quarterback. Now for the Jets, because we're the Jets, he's washed. He's a bad human being. He's this and that. He's a conspiracy theorist. He's a whatever. He's a druggie, whoever. So it's like Knicks for clicks, but for the Jets. So that's how I really feel when it comes to that.
Well, it's not going to stop. And you know what? Don't listen to the national media.
No, I'm not.
You saw him call out Shefty. He said, "Yo, you ain't shit. You don't know shit." All right, that's basically what he said in his on the Pat McAfee. Same thing with Ian Rappaport. He don't know shit. He's not on his inside. So any news coming from those organizations about Aaron Rodgers, just because they don't like him, yes, we got the 30 likes tonight. Let's see if we can even get 40. But anywho, they don't like him for whatever personal vendetta they have against him. That's fine. Hate him all you want. Hate him all you want. I could care less what they fucking think, okay? But going back to your point, Luca, the Packers don't really have the leverage, not only because of what you said, but there's really no other team that's interested in Rodgers. The only other team rumored was Vegas, but obviously they just got Jimmy G this offseason, and, they're probably going to draft a guy. So other than that, everyone else is moving on to the draft, Unless something major and crazy happens, there's really not another suitor for Aaron Rodgers right now.
In addition to that point, the Jets can easily say to Green Bay, we'll leave you with the quarterback that doesn't want to be there and the quarterback you don't want. We'll go out and trade for Matthew Stafford or Lamar Jackson. That's just a hypothetical. The Jets can have options, but that's just a hypothetical. Anyways, I'm going to pull up some run blocking from our new wide receiver, Alan Lazard, who has the Danny Green haircut. Here we go. Watch the black circle. This is Alan Lazard against the Dolphins. And there's a few more clips here too.
Corey Davis should have done this better.
Let's watch the block again.
Good fucking hit.
Black circle again. Basically guides him to the touchdown. As this screen pops out. Good block here.
Such a strong. He's really strong. You don't even realize it on the field.
He's got strength.
Yeah.
On the outside again, comes into the slot. That is Alan Lazard run blocking. Very good run blocker. To me, he has a similar skill set, John, to Corey Davis, but the best ability is availability. He is a very healthy player.
I couldn't stand Corey Davis. I thought Corey Davis, dropped a lot of passes for us, took unnecessary penalties during games, which kind of cost them. And he just wasn't healthy fully. And you know what? If he hasn't figured it out by now, this guy, what was he, the top 5 pick, right?
Corey Davis, yes, with the Titans.
He's not going to figure it out. Sorry.
Let me ask this. Do you think that Corey Davis could be potentially in a deal to get Aaron Rodgers?
I don't care where he is. I mean, he could. Great. You can cut him. Great. As long as he's not playing for us.
Yeah, it would save about close to similar salaries. Let me just say, Lazard's getting $11 million. Some people say it was an overpay, which is ridiculous. Corey Davis around $12 million. Similar skill sets, but cheaper for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that. John, what are your overall thoughts on how the free agency has gone for the Jets outside of Lazard and outside of obviously the hypothetical of Aaron Rodgers? Do you think they could have been more aggressive, and who are you targeting currently for the team?
Well, I don't think they could have been more aggressive because of the Rodgers situation. You got to wait until that salary comes in. You got to wait till you clear off guys. And that's what they were doing to restructure some guys before even guys were starting to sign with other teams. But you look at that, I mean, the only things they did besides the Lazard signing was get a new punter, Thomas Morstead, a guy who was on our team before. A guy who we got back. Thank God Joe Douglas listened to us on that one, because I don't know how long we've been preaching to the choir of the Braden Mann.
Whitehead, though.
What happened?
How do you guys feel about him not cutting Whitehead?
They must like him for some reason, because you could save $7 million on the cap, and you could have signed a guy like
Considering also as well, I mean, I don't know how the dominoes fell, specifically and chronologically for the safety market, but you could have used those assets on another safety that's probably better than Whitehead.
That's true. I think Whitehead is an inconsistent tackler. He's more fit in the box. Chuck Clark, you can maneuver wherever. You can put him in the free safety. You can put him up top. You can put him in coverage as a corner. You can put him as in the box. So it's like both have the similar skill set, but it's kind of redundant. You need that over the top safety. Whitehead is terrible in coverage, and to be honest, he's a less than assuring run stopper. So I do think the Jets need to get a safety. Obviously, you can consider a lot of names. You could think of Kevin Byard, who I want to trade for. That guy's a constant ball hawk. He's obviously at an impasse with the Titans right now. The guy has like what 4 interceptions in each of the last few seasons. Like there's always above 4. He always gets more than 4 interceptions in a season. He's that good. He's 29, so you're getting him at the right time, still in his prime. But the safety, I think the Jets could have eased. They could. It's not even about just Jordan Whitehead, Alex. They could have cut Bryce Hall. They could have cut Ashton Davis along with Whitehead. So it's like you could give up that money, and then when Aaron Rodgers comes, you can fill up the rest of your needs. Now, that's not the only need for the Jets right now.
Right.
You have we obviously mentioned safety, the top coverage safety, which you can do draft, but obviously we'll see what happens. You have center, you have potential linebacker, and you have the offensive line, whichever combo you want to do. Because right now the center position, as I said, is still a hole. You got the guard positions, which could be AVT and Laken Tomlinson. And then you have the 2 tackle spots, which are up for grabs. John, what are your thoughts on the remaining positions on the Jets?
It's interesting that you say that because there was one guy that was reported that I actually liked coming in here that was coming over from Tennessee is now a free agent. Ben Jones.
That's right.
Real interesting grab at center. Very underrated, actually. I think like his pro football focus. I know we're not like, big all believers into that, but I think he was like in the top 11 or 10 for like the past like 6 years as an overall graded out center. So he is a quality player. That would significantly be, in my opinion, a better upgrade than Connor McGovern. But, you look at that. There's talks of Odell coming to the Jets, which, again, that'd be interesting. Not necessarily a need, but, hey, if it helps bring along Aaron Rodgers, I'm fine with it. And then you look at the tackle position. Obviously you got the Hamburglar Becton that can never stay healthy and is too busy eating at the Wawa in Jersey. All right, but then you got Dwayne Brown's coming back for another year. Max Mitchell could fill that. I honestly think we should draft an offensive tackle.
That's fair.
In the first round, that's the position I want to target. Just because I don't really, you can't go into another situation where it's uncertain there. You need a surefire guy, and if you know what, Becton works out, I'm Jets mess Becton the Hut. But
yes.
If it works out with Becton, great. It only makes us stronger. But if he doesn't, we can't rely on him because he's not in shape to stay healthy, or he hasn't been, and it's really hurt us in the past with the revolving door of tackle. So.
Yeah, definitely. I do think that drafting Becton would be the best option. I have a stat right here. This is over the last 2 seasons. Let me see. This is for Ben Jones. Sacks allowed by qualified centers over the past 3 seasons, 2020 to 2022. Ben Jones ranks 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th least sack percentage. He's had a total of 1,557 pass blocking snaps. He's only allowed 2 sacks in that entire span. For Connor McGovern, 1,959 pass blocking snaps. Sack numbers, 15, which is close to 1% sack percentage, which obviously substantiates the opinion and obviously to the fact that Ben Jones is better as a pass blocker than Connor McGovern, and he would highly covet. Now, there is a risk. He is 34 years old, A. B, he's suffered, I think, 2 concussions last season, so obviously there is a factor in that. So let's pull up this one rep from Ben Jones where he just destroys the linebacker coming up the middle. Let me get to here. Let's go.
Wow. That was great.
Pass blocking. The thing with McGovern was very inconsistent. So obviously that was a big problem. In terms of OBJ, I will say that the Jets don't. I wouldn't be upset if the Jets didn't get him, but I wouldn't be like too upset if the Jets got him because he could be like your wide receiver 4. Obviously, the Jets might have their eyes on Randall Cobb as well, so I think that plays a part. I know the wish list was also brought in. Mercedes Lewis was on the list. He could be a potential tight end 4. So obviously that's a thing.
I wanted to ask, do you really think that wish list is real? Because Rodgers addressed it in the McAfee show, and he kind of said, like, what they reported on ESPN, he didn't have a demand. He never did. And that's what everyone made it seem to be like. And I'm like, you see, this is why you shouldn't take ESPN so seriously. And I'm not saying they don't have any credible reporters. I'm not saying there's any beat reporters that don't know what they're doing. But you see, when they put stuff out there and it gets like, shot down in the next few days, it really does like make you think like, who the hell has the right info there, and who the hell has the idea of telling Rodgers what he wants.
To me, it was only Trey Wingo who had the right info. Everybody else just guessed. So
no, I agree.
I obviously did the quote stuff with what's his name. I did the quote stuff with the wish list. So that's why I said it was not true. So we tagged center. Guard, I think is solidified. Obviously drafted tackle. And then I think you have Mekhi Becton and Max Mitchell probably battle it out for right tackle. Obviously Becton's losing a shit ton of weight. So obviously that helps. Obviously, I'm not hopeful that he'll be the right tackle. We'll probably evaluate him in camp because he's lost the weight. We'll see. Linebacker, I think they could re-sign Quan Alexander or go after somebody else. I'm not sure who that would be. They could draft a linebacker, which is probably my preference early on. As I said, safety, and I don't think there's anything else on that front. But let's hope the Aaron Rodgers thing gets done this week.
No, I hope so too.
So what does it mean if Rodgers fails to live up to expectations?
It depends.
Does it mean he's washed, or is it he's in a new program?
Not totally sure, because I know there's some people out there who would say it's Super Bowl or bust with Rodgers if he's here for 1 or 2 years, but they could do a kind of a repeat of 2009, 2010. They had Favre in 08. He obviously ended up leaving the team after 2008, but that team was built for a Super Bowl. And obviously they drafted Mark Sanchez into that Super Bowl-esque team. So you could still be contenders beyond that year with guys like Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall and Sauce Gardner. So it's just got to be about smart with the money, smart with the draft.
Yeah. Sean Marble says the NY Jet Packers, your luggage is waiting. And also, to my knowledge, I don't have the game on, but I have the Google up. The Knicks apparently are down by like 7 with like 45 seconds to go.
6. Oh, God.
Whatever the. Oh,
no defense tonight, guys. That's okay.
But anyone's final thoughts on the whole Rodgers escapade?
Let's get this done this week so we can move on with free agency.
Shall we?
I agree.
All right. So before we get into prospect of the week, we have 2 of them this week. Let's see. The Jets are going to be good. Well,
I hope so,
Rodgers, yeah. Rodgers trade goes through and Luka and John become half pump chumps.
1.5 pump.
1.5.
1.5.
That's the magical number. To me, instantly to become a top 4 team, I would not say top 4.
Top 4? That would be very interesting.
Bengal, if the tackle comes back healthy, no, I don't think Becton's coming back healthy. He's gonna go make a trip at Red Lobster before he goes to the Jets training camp. So I think we know where they are there. If the deal doesn't go through for Rodgers, and what if he ends up retiring and switches his mind?
Well, he hasn't retired. Well, he didn't make the decision to retire. Maybe the year after he probably retires. But
yeah. Take that into account. They're definitely, and look what they did with the trash SQBs they had last year.
That's the selling point. That's why a lot of people said we're a quarterback away because of the defense and all of that.
Don't mean to interrupt, but the Knicks are currently down by 3 with 40 seconds left.
Quite interesting to say this.
It is. My God.
So do the Jets get 2 years out? Jets get 2 years out of Rodgers before he goes the debate of retiring again?
I'm happy. I'm just going to say max 2 years, I think.
Max 2 years. All right. I would say, all right, for this one, 2 years out of Rodgers. Yeah, we know sharp. By the way, we are at 32 likes. Can we get that to 35? Let's bump it up a little bit. Before we get into prospect of the week, one team, I would guess, other than your own, of course, and other than the New York Giants, that you feel either impressed or you were just weirded out by the direction in this free agency. So I'll start with Luka.
I think the Bears are building a nice team. I'm questioning why they spent so much money at linebacker, but I think they're going to get Justin Fields their guys. And I think they have a ton of assets. Obviously, this goes with trading the first-round pick, trading the first overall pick, should I say, for a lot of picks. But I think they've had a nice free agency period. The Lions, too. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson being one of them. Who else did they sign? Not sure. I'm going to look it over.
I got it. Lions.
Bears, Lions are definitely one of them, so they might be climbers. So those are the top two. Weirded out.
Well, I mean, it's just, one team you pick. If you want to go on more a little bit, sure.
No, one weirded out team I have is the Texans.
Okay. All right. That's a fair assessment. Angry John?
I would say, sorry, I do have the Knicks on, and I'm like, they're down by 5. They're about to lose the game. Anywho. I've been impressed I've been impressed with the Bears most offseason because, you look at what they are trying to do. It's funny. Everyone was saying they're going to trade Justin Fields and start the process again. No. This GM came in, polls, traded out from the first overall pick, and I'm sorry, did he get a fucking tech? Are you kidding? What happened? For what?
And Luka just walks away casually, I guess.
Oh no, he didn't. I thought I saw the tee up. But the down. Sorry, this is such a heartbreaker.
Pandemonium, apparently, from what I'm seeing.
Oh my god, he got blocked. For fuck's sakes. God.
And I hate to say it, but the Cowboys made moves that were exactly what they needed, other than quarterback. Yeah, they'll keep extending Dak to 2029. Maybe.
I apologize for not giving an answer at first, but all right. Now that I'm concentrated, and now that we lost pretty much, Bears really impressed me this offseason. Trading out of the first overall pick to get a ton of draft picks. You get your number one wideout with DJ Moore. You get Nate Davis on the offensive line. You get some linebackers to help the defense. They're starting to build up a team there in Chicago. Fields is going to need more protection. I expect the Bears to address that in the draft. And other teams that won, the Jets could win if they get Aaron Rodgers. That'll be a win for them. But we'll see. I think Miami did okay as well. The acquisition of Ramsey, you buy low on a player. He had a down year, but I think he'll bounce back.
There's another one we were talking about, the trade market, too. I think it was only, a third and a
third round
tight
pick,
end that nobody's ever heard of.
Mm-hmm. Right. They got some depth. I like the signing of David Long Jr. at linebacker. It's a really cheap deal that's going to help them.
Right.
And he's going to add to that front. So, it's going to be interesting to see what they're with this year if Tua could stay healthy.
They should have signed a medical staff, too. They should have signed a medical staff.
Yeah, they should have.
Would have been a good acquisition, but they did have a solid free agency. Let's see what else we got. Yes, I did see the Jose Altuve injury. He's going to be out for, I think, 10 weeks, and then they'll reevaluate him. Cowboys, fucking bottle dropped. Cowboys are going to lose key players very soon, and they're going to suck for a while. I can't wait for that. Yep. I'm counting the days till next Christmas, as they would say. I'm out, guys. Draft night call-in show? ? Good night. We'll definitely have a call-in show in April. But we'll determine when that is. But me and John actually were talking today about having, a week full of. Now, obviously, everybody's going to be on different nights. It's because I don't want to tire out the rest of my crew here. But, I think Monday night we'll probably do Boys in the Big Apple with a big mock draft. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, some draft prep with different guys on. So it's going to be quite interesting there. This year better be the year because this is the last year. I hope so. Sharp. But real quickly, while Donald recovers from the Knicks loss, at least I'm projecting that's what happened.
No, your projection.
I will say I'm kind of confused by the Panthers' direction. Because they traded up for the number 1 overall pick. And they probably wouldn't have gotten a top 3 quarterback at their position, knowing that some guys would have traded up. With that being said, you signed Adam Thielen. What's the move there? To be honest with you, and then now, I don't know. It's just they're an interesting team. They've also there's a couple other confusing moves they made. I'm gonna take a look right now. Let's go to Carolina here on Spot Track. Adam Thielen, we talked about. Miles Sanders, I mean, you just traded C-Mac. Kind of doesn't make any sense. Von Bell, Hayden Hurst, I mean, that's like a low-risk, high-reward signing. I don't know. I'm a little weirded out. And you signed Miles Sanders for more when Foreman was walking over to Chicago. So, I don't know. Just quite interesting. Giants on the rise, Cowboys trying to stay relevant, and Eagles on the decline. Panthers in a weird spot, most likely having a rookie quarterback. Yeah, I just don't think that they're a functional organization right now. NFC South looks like it's going to be a disaster for a while. I do agree until they get a legitimate quarterback down there. Well, also, Derek Carr, but that's probably 9 wins a season at best. Texans making some interesting moves, not necessarily telling in terms of direction, though. I mean, we'll see what happens. Probably drafting a quarterback and all these different things, whatever.
Can I
Go ahead, Angry John.
I was going to give out my losers. That's what we're doing.
Oh, I mean, just teams that either interest you in a way. They stick out to you, bad, good, and different.
I got 2 of them.
Okay.
The Raiders. I don't know what they're doing, man. You get rid of Derek Carr, who's been there for years, right?
Then you trade Darren Waller, and then you get his cheap replacement in OJ Howard.
Yeah, and then you go get Jimmy G as your starter. Now I understand he's probably not the future there. They're probably gonna draft a quarterback, most likely. That's my educated guess. But what are you doing, man? Like the team, there's like no direction there. And the biggest loser in my opinion so far has to be Baltimore. Like they have kept Lamar Jackson so unhappy there. And they've really not done much to build around him. I know they've had some salary tightened up, but man, it just looks like they're not even trying at this point to build around him. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do something in the draft, but it just looks like a messy situation there, and it doesn't look like it's getting better.
Donald, any teams that interest you other than the Giants free agency, whether it's a bad or good thing?
Mexico just look like they've probably just clinched their place in the final. They're up 5-3, bottom of the 8th. Okay, so I would say the Lions. I love what the Lions have done.
All right, good answer because they've had.
And the Panthers have made some surprisingly good moves too. I completely agree with the Raiders. I have no idea what they're doing. Washington.
That's another one.
Have they done anything at all?
I think they're setting the rebuild there for Washington.
Yeah, they're a non-factor.
They're gonna let Howell start out this year.
It's just because they've got an owner who is a criminal, and
he also might not be the owner for that much longer.
Yeah, exactly. To put it nicely, he's a criminal. The whole organization's a mess. They don't even have a name. As far as I'm concerned. So, and they definitely don't have a quarterback. So for me, Washington, Raiders, why are they willing to give up an all-star tight end, a tight end like that for pick number 100 makes no sense to me. So, I think they're lost. But, full credit to the Lions, man. Their team's going to be balling, man. I think they're going to make the playoffs. They look awesome. They've got a great receiver core. They got my main guy, Monroe St. Brown, who's just an absolute beast. And their defense, they focused on their defense, and their defense has been great. So I like what they've done. I think, those are the ones I was going to think. Credit to Tampa Bay for bringing back Jamil Dean. I think that was an underrated signing for them.
And then signing Baker Mayfield on top of it.
That
Baker
be on, but to be honest, he's better than Kyle Trask. So
Kyle Tusk.
Tusk, he's better than him. So
the Baker against Tusk.
Tampa might be okay because they've got plenty on offense. I wonder who their running back's going to be because they've let go of playoff Lenny.
Rashad White. I mean,
draft one. Yeah,
you could probably draft one. Maybe there might be if they have a first round pick. Maybe by John. Maybe. Pick up a QB who is known to rely on a tight end, but give away their tight end for a third mid-round pick. That's what the Raiders did. Sharp. Yeah, that's what the Raiders did. Talking about teams that seem have no clear direction, I feel the Raiders are confused. They're dazed and confused. Supposedly the Giants are sniffing around Ben Jones. I would only be okay with signing him if we draft a center. My personal opinion. Who do you think will win the World Baseball Classic? So it would be what? USA and Mexico in the finals?
Mexico are 5-3 up, bottom of the 8th.
I'd have to take a look at
or Japan have got a runner on in the bottom of the 8th.
So it's actually funny. So for a school podcast I do, and one of the person I did it with can vouch for this. My pick to win it all, the whole tournament, was Mexico from the start. So it would be insane if either team won, because obviously I'm rooting for USA. I want them to win so desperately. But if Mexico wins, I'm like, wow, I look like a freaking genius.
So it's a win-win situation.
Professor John!
Strikes again.
Professional genius. But we got one more like to 35 shots, the heavyweight champion of the world. Woo! You're damn right.
If you've not liked yet, you better click that like button.
Yeah, or else we're going to have to watch Cocaine Bear.
Well, you stop bringing up Cocaine Bear, for crying out loud. It sounds like an obsession.
Hey, listen, the movie has a stupid premise. If we're going to make movies about Cocaine Bear and bears that eat cocaine on accident, then why don't we make a bunch of movies about the Florida man?
It's a true story, though. What's the problem?
So is every Florida man.
You know what I have to say to that? If you're willing to watch the product that Brian Cashman puts out, you should have no problem watching.
Wait, hold on, John. Who said I'm willing?
Well, you don't act like you're not.
Sorry, but no Cocaine Bear for me. Booyah, Angry John said the Ravens is a team that hasn't done a lot. I mean, who else would be on that list?
Trying to think on the top of my head.
I said the Texans because they're making such mid signings.
But you expect them to do that. They're rebuilding. They're not trying to win yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be in the
brutal. That was a brutal loss for the Knicks.
Yeah, we should have. That's a team you got to beat.
Real quickly though, before we transition to prospect of the week, I just wanted to give you guys a sample size of what Luka was reacting like after the Rodgers comment.
No, say that on camera. Say that on camera.
Just remember, your organization paid $40 million for a mid quarterback who's not proven anything to be worth that number. Meanwhile, this man is a new face of the franchise.
You mean a hippie, right?
No.
Takes psychedelic drugs.
2 years removed from an MVP season. 2 years removed from MVP season. 4-time MVP. Super Bowl champion Aaron Rodgers
Brett Favre
will be wearing the Jets next year. No.
Just thought I'd put that out there. But hey, listen, he was excited.
I don't know what's funnier right now, the video or Donald's reaction.
Hey, we'll see what happens. Anyway,
He looked like Cocaine Bear. He looked like he was on cocaine.
no, Cocaine Bear I think looks worse. We'll see what happens though.
I'll back you up with the Aaron Rodgers. Come on. Here, I'll get my towel. Hold up.
You have a towel?
My scarf, right? This is a scarf here. I'll wave it around just for you. Oh, it's dust everywhere. That's amazing.
Dusting off the latest quarterback?
Yeah, dust because I haven't touched it in forever.
Oh, Japan are coming back.
Anyway, let's slide into our 2 NFL draft prospects of the week. I'm going to get the video up and we're going to get this going. Let's see. We want a video file, of course. So I will give a hint. Our first candidate is a center. Our first candidate is a center, but he is not a first-round pick. So I just want to pull up my little notes, little script that I go off of. Welcome to our 5th presentation of NFL Draft Prospect of the Week. This week's first candidate is Michigan center, and I apologize if I don't pronounce the name correctly, Olusegun Oluwatimi. He's 23 years old, listed at 6'3", 307, played for a couple of years at Air Force, then transferred to Virginia, then went on to play for Michigan. So he's played 4 years, but has 5 years on his collegiate record. Some awards that he has: Outland Trophy 2022, Consensus All-American, First Team All-Big Ten, Remington Trophy, Second team All ACC with Virginia in 21, and second team All American in 21 as well. Real quickly, before we get into a little bit of the film, this past year, 4 quarterback hurries, 5 hits allowed, 13 games, so not a sack allowed. The prior season, when he was with Virginia, that last season, 12 QB hurries, 5 hits, 3 sacks, 12 games. So let's dig into Mr. Uluwatimi and see what we got. All right, so he is number 55. Here on this rep, he's just putting somebody into the dirt. Let's rewind that again because it's a little fast. Puts him in the dirt. He also put somebody in the dirt on that play. Here he is again. Just strong in pass protection, which is really his I would say, his biggest pro, if anything. Right here, just McCarthy's in the pocket a long time, and he's just staying tough with this D lineman. And then McCarthy obviously throws it away. Here again, helping out his guys. Let's do it one more time. Helping out his left guard. Taking on the rusher. Do this again. Handles a stunt really well. So you can see there's some IQ there. Takes on a stunt again. So he's really solid in pass protection as I have exhibited. Once again, another stunt. Do that one more time. Okay. A couple more in the pass pro, but as you see, he's very good. So right here, number 55, he's flipping his hips. Going to let the running back get that lane. Let's take a look at that again. Number 55, he's blocking number 35. Just nice twist there. Right here, which he probably would do for the Giants if he was drafted by them, he'd pull. And this is what he's going to do. Flips his hips. Paves a way for the running back. Here's it again. Now, the running back doesn't get a big gain here. But, again, he just pushes him into the ground. Let's do it one more time. Paves a nice hole. He is competing here against what could be potentially a 6th-round pick in DJ Mustapher. Let's take a look again. He just irons him out. He dominated him, I would say, that day. Do this again. Oluwatimi. If you look at the end, I really like how he just plows these guys down. He's not a Nick Gates character, but listen, when you put guys in the ground, he puts guys in the ground. Here, he's going to pave a nice hole for Edwards, the running back. Take a look right here. He's going to seal it off. Make sure that number 35 does not get hands. Oluwatimi again. See where he is on this rep. Going to go back just a little bit. 55 the center on this one. He just pushes him into the ground. All right. This one is another big run that he contributes to. Yes, it is a different run from before. Here, he's just totally stonewalling number 0. Big run, big gain. Totally flipping his hips, sealing that edge a little bit. Here's another one. He just totally dominates Mustapher in the hole. Another big run. That one's Blake Corum. Another big run. Once again, running through Oluwatimi. All right, so here's where we get into a little bit of flaws. I noticed a lot, even though I kind of pointed it out on film. He does not give help a lot of the times, which I would like him to be a little bit more aware. See, right here, you maybe push this guy, put him into the ground like he did in the running game. He just stands there a little bit. See this a couple of times here. Same thing here. You guys could use help a little bit. It's just a nitpick thing. It's not a lot that, a lot of different guys picked up. This one is not about help. He just loses the rep, that shoulder. Kind of like we talked about with Torrance. I think it was last week or the week before. That shoulder issue. He just gets beat. Could not get his hands on him. Forces pressure on the quarterback, obviously. Here, it's that shoulder. It's going to come up here. I would like him to sustain it a little bit more. That way McCarthy could run it a little bit longer. This one is pretty fast, but if you could tell within the smidge, let me just put it here. He's allowing pressure. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor, but he is allowing literal pressure on this trick play, even though it's a completion. Here, still number 55. Now, you could argue it's kind of the right guard's fault as well for not totally picking this up, but Oluwatimi, he's not staying square, allows the pressure on McCarthy. And then this one right here, kind of the same thing, even though it doesn't really affect the play. This one, I mean, he holds up in the running game this rep, but it's just not good. The balance is off a little bit. So before I let the panel decide, I'm going to just get some final notes on Oluwatimi. As a mid-round pick, I like him. His pass blocking is the most NFL-ready attribute he has. Some minor issues like Torrance involve giving up the shoulder, giving the interior defensive line leeway to rush the passer. Other footwork issues, leaning and occasionally not offering help, showing lack of awareness. Many see downsides in his run blocking, but I see through that. He was one of the reasons Blake Corum had a career year before injury. He flips his hips really well, in addition to having the ability to pancake guys in both pass and run setting. Overall, my prediction for Oluwatimi is a 4th, 5th round pick, and he may fall to the Giants. According to Draft Network, he is a fit for a zone system with the Giants do run. But with some need filled in free agency, do the Giants go higher to draft a center, especially now that John Feliciano is a 49er? So I don't have an NFL comp value 4th, 5th round pick. Fit for the Giants, I say yes. I'm going to start with Donald, and then I'll work my way down.
He doesn't really have any weaknesses from what I saw. He looked really good. Big, solid dude. I like his run blocking, actually. I thought his run blocking was good, and his pass pro was excellent. So I liked a lot of those reps, man. He looks like a big physical dude, like a real beast. And I like those kind of big physical dudes in the O-line. You can never have enough of those big hog mollies, as Gettleman like to say. Hog mollies. So I think he's a hog molly. So I would seriously consider him, actually.
Angry John?
Well, first off, though, I did like that you pointed out that he bounced around a few teams and has the experience of 5 years. Not a lot of guys do have that, so maybe he's a little more polished as a late round gem. Never know. The one thing I do that I know it's a little hard to tell that I was trying to really look closely in the video, since he's a really good run blocker, I think his hands are, where they place most of the time, really good. Has the ability to drive the defensive lineman back because he gets under them. The one thing I'll say, I guess, is a weakness. He doesn't look the biggest guy or the most athletic guy. That's why when you're talking about the, he didn't get his shoulder out too quick enough. Maybe it's because he's just not as athletic as some of these other not edge rushers, these interior linemen. So that's probably the biggest weakness of him. But again, a guy that could be a mid-round pick. Could the Giants grab him? It's going to be a tough one because it honestly depends who they really like in the first 2 rounds. But I think he could be a fit for you guys. Do I want the Jets to grab him? No. I'd rather them go after a veteran center. That's just my opinion. But Luca?
I like his skill set. There's no overall weaknesses. His strength seems fine. His hand placement seems fine. Obviously, John Howland, not the strongest or biggest guy, but I think that could get better, obviously.
Yeah, I'm saying as of now, there's obviously things you can improve. You can obviously easily get stronger. It's not impossible.
Yeah. I'm just talking about Tony, JMS or bust. MLB could tweak new rules before opening day. Members of competition committee met on Monday.
Oh, really?
I don't think it's going to do anything. If you want my honest opinion,
Do expand. What's the question? Maybe extending the time for pitchers to throw?
I don't know, but we'll see. Love me some Hogs. Yeah, we definitely need it. I feel that's what we have in Evan Neal. I just hope he makes better progress with the pass rush. But I feel his run blocking was good. I agree with that. Any final thoughts on Mr. Oluwatimi before we go to target number 2? Guess that's a no. Okay, so the next candidate on our list is a safety, and he is a guy that our friend Football Grump did bring up about 2-ish weeks ago, and I'm not going to play this yet because that's what I want to keep you guys up to pace. I think we need a center at 25, so we basically have some consistency. I agree. Apparently, it is about the pitch clock. Booyah says so.
Interesting.
I did just check. I think the Athletic reported that.
All right.
Oh, I'll have to read about it.
So the safety we have here is Illinois safety Sidney Brown. He's 22 years old, 6'0", 205, played 5 years at Illinois. First team All Big Ten in 2022. This season was probably his best season. Tackling wise, not really, 60 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 fumble recovery, 1 forced fumble, 1 touchdown in terms of fumble recoveries, and also 6 INTs. So let's take a look at Mr. Sidney Brown. He is number 30, by the way. Now, obviously, he doesn't force the pressure, but he pops it up. He catches it. He's a little tweener. Returns it for a few yards. This one against Michigan State. Gets the high point, makes the catch. It's against Northwestern. Totally reads it. Goes to the house with it. This one against Nebraska again. Do a good job of forcing the pressure on the corner, and he reads it again.
Oh,
All skills.
This one again. This is towards the end of the game against Minnesota. Yep, just reads it. Interception. And I believe this is the final one that I showcase before we get into some of his run defense. This one really wasn't made a play by him, but it was a nice play by the defender coming over. All right. So here, showcasing some of his better run defense, and he's in that pile, so you can trust me on that one. He said number 30, going up against Mohamed Ibrahim, makes the tackle, shoestring by the legs, reads it, and he comes over for the tackle. He just plops the guy for the sack. Let's take a look at that one more time. He's coming over from the left side. Boom.
wow. Nice
Big hit. Brown's going to be coming off the edge here, and he reads the quarterback, and he hits him. So he didn't fall for that fake there.
Smaller guy, but it seems like he can lay the boom on people.
Daddy can. All right, so we got him in coverage here. Makes the pass breakup. Now, this could probably get him in a little bit of trouble here. He does hold a little bit, but they did not call it. Little handsy, but hey, listen, you forced the pass breakup. This one's on a tight end. He just forces the pass breakup. He's going to be under the top of your screen on the right side, going up against a tight end again. And that is actually called an incomplete pass as it does hit the ground. This one here. Another pass breakup on a tight end. This one here is where we start to get to this is where we start to get to his flaws a little bit. His tackling is a little bit of an issue, consistency-wise. Let's take a look. So he's number 30, and he just falls down, doesn't even get his hands on the guy. Brown here totally misreads the fake, lets the quarterback run. Now his teammate takes care of it, but still it's not a great read by Brown. Here, you just see he's going with the head, not really a great form tackle, and he gets mulled over. Not great form there. Here, he has the chance to get it in the hole, and he misses. And here, he could have had the tackle on Ibrahim, but he spins out of it. Once again, bad form on the tackle. Right here, this is the last one, this is the last showcase. Draft Network listed this as a flaw of his, despite what I showed on film, is covering tight ends. He is 6'0", and just look how the tight end just totally high points it and makes the catch. So that could be an issue with his frame. Sidney Brown, yes, Chris, is Sidney Brown the safety. And while I finish up my final thoughts on him, To be honest, I'm not too big of a fan of Sidney Brown, despite him being a Senior Bowl standout and his ball production increasing in 22. I feel there's a lot to nitpick and clean up for positives. His second-round value comes from the potential he exhibits as a run defender and the ball production from this past year. With the run defending comes inconsistent tackling and bad angles. With the ball production, his frame doesn't allow him to win against bigger tight ends, despite some nice pass deflections that I showcased on film. I do think he could be a nice QB spy if his tackling issues are cleaned up. Overall, my projection for Brown is a second, third-round pick. He might fit the Giants as a potential replacement for McKinney or Love, but I definitely would not consider him BPA with the premium picks the Giants have, which could be used on O-line, wide receiver, or corner. If Big Blue did pick him, I do feel Wink's coaching staff could fix his tackling angles and his inconsistency issues. So, Donald, I'll start with you again.
He's a little undersized to me, but he looks like a playmaker. And when you have a ball hawk, it's a very underrated attribute that you have for a defensive back. So you can work on his flaws and things like that, but someone that's a ball hawk and can make plays as a playmaker, you can give him a chance to work on the flaws that he has. But he does look a little undersized to me. But no, I think he looks interesting. I think he'd be a reach though in the second round. I'd probably say more third round for him. But no, he looks okay.
All right. Let's see. Got a couple of comments I just want to address real quickly. It was Sidney Brown before. Yes. Please draft Addison at 25 on one, a receiver. Addison ain't falling to us. I have a feeling that might actually be, what the case is. Odds are center since we don't have any left. Chris says he'll be on Lou and Big Pat's channel. They awesome Big Blue crew over there. If you haven't already, go subscribe. And I don't know, a small guy, which may be a contributor to his tackling issues. That's true. Center veteran in the draft. Flowers is my guy at 25. John, your thoughts on Sidney Brown? Your mic is on mute.
My apologies. The biggest pro on Sidney Brown is definitely the ball hawk skills. I think he's great anticipation. Seems like a guy that can make a lot of plays. And I guess I don't want to say he's got like amazing recovery speed, but it looks like he's got like this awareness out there of where to be at the right time in the right place. So that's a plus for me. The negative is what Donald alluded to is the size, but if he's not, the issue is if he's not like this a great tackler, it kind of does scare you a little, or if it's inconsistent, but it can get cleaned up. It's not something that's impossible to teach. So maybe another third round pick, maybe a fourth, second highest if the team wants to reach on him, but we'll see.
Yeah. Is JMS a reach in the first round? I don't think so. I don't care about positional value at that point. Bredesen is not the answer at center. I agree. I want Jordan Addison. He had number one in my opinion. We'll see if the Giants trade up where they get him in general. Luca, your thoughts?
Quite undersized, and obviously at 6'0", but I think every one of his flaws is coachable. The tackling angles, the run defense, all of that. I mean, obviously he's going to have trouble covering tight ends because of his size. He's obviously 6'0". Tight ends can be like 6'6" or whatever. But as like a guy over the top, like he has the speed and he has the ball skills. So I think that's a win-win for those teams. Third round guy, fourth round guy, definitely I'd keep my eyes on.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if the Giants don't go center first pick. Yeah, I mean, if Schmitz is there, I would expect them to go center. But if he's not, I'd probably say they wait till the second or they trade back. That could definitely be a possibility. So what we're gonna do real quickly before we head into some other topics as well, just a post free agency mock draft for both teams, of course. When we get closer to the NFL draft itself, we'll probably end up doing all 32 teams at some point. Thinking corner first round, why not steal Ben Jones from the Jets?
Ben Jones ain't a Jet yet.
We want some long-term answers. This is my opinion, but we'll see what happens. So we're going to do the Jets. We're going to do the Giants. Obviously, there's a lot of different settings here. I'm just not going to screw with. Yeah, so let's do this.
First of all, we're not. Hey, Oh, damn it. Well, never mind. Go ahead.
What? What's the issue?
I was going to say I was going to make 2 trades.
All right, so we'll start it again.
Oh, well, never mind.
I'm being generous. All right.
Well, you could have traded then, but
All
It's
right,
also
so
better start than last time. We were actually able to load it.
right.
oh yeah, that's right. It was having that glitch. Okay, so all right.
First
Obviously
off-
the Packers.
No, first off, we're going to trade for Chuck Clark. For some reason, PFF's not updating. Go to the Ravens, please.
All right. I didn't know they didn't update. Ravens. Okay.
Select a
select.
player, Chuck Clark.
Yep.
Chucky.
And then how much?
Give trade a round 7 from 2024.
Round 7 from 20. It says it will not. Well, going to force this trade. Actually,
Yeah, that's what.
that's the trade that happened.
Yep.
Okay, force trade.
And then trade again.
Yep.
Green Bay Packers.
Packers. Here we are.
For the Jets, select Aaron Rodgers.
A-Rod.
John, are we trading Corey Davis in this trade or are we not?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say no. I think he's
Okay,
more.
we'll leave him out. We'll leave him out.
All right.
Alex, give me 74 and a round 2 from 2024,
Okay. All right,
and
so
then
we're
we'll
gonna
force that trade.
All right.
Yeah.
Force that trade. Are we ready to draft?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's start the draft. All right. Here are your options at number 13.
Tackle, please.
Okay.
Offensive.
So we obviously are poof. So I guess Skoronski's gone to the Eagles. I see you there.
Skoronski is gone, and Parris
Um,
Johnson went to the Bears.
So
Matt
who's it?
Bergeron. He's good.
Anton Harrison's the best now.
No, Broderick Jones. He's the
No?
he's the third best tackle or third best lineman.
Yeah.
Broderick Jones.
Or do you like Dawan Jones or no?
No, not there, not anywhere.
Okay. All right. I guess Broderick Jones it is then.
All right, Broderick Jones.
I do like Jones. I think he's going to be a good player.
All right, so here are picks 25. Do we go wide receiver or do we go center?
I would go receiver and bring in Zay Flowers.
Okay, I will agree with that sentiment, and we'll move on. The Jets now have this.
All right.
Quick
Let's
question.
see.
Quick
Go
question.
ahead.
Are we assuming that we signed a center?
I'm going to assume that yes, I am actually going to do that. I'm going to assume we're going to sign Ben Jones.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So-
we're not going to draft a center here. Do you want to go linebacker or safety, John?
Let's look at the safety class.
Okay. Very good.
There's boy we just talked about.
Sidney Brown, I'd wait on. Not yet.
Okay.
Linebacker, please.
What about Jordan Battle out of Bama?
That's like
Wade?
towards the back end of the second round.
Okay.
What do you think about Jamie Robinson?
I haven't watched a lot of his film, but Alex, I think John, are we going to go with Jack Campbell?
I was thinking that. Yeah.
All
He's
right.
had a very good combine. So
All right, Jack Campbell it is. Now to the Giants. Now, let me just make sure of something real quick. I believe they, of course, they updated the Giants and not the Jets. I just want to make sure Darren Waller is a Giant. We traded number 100. Okay, so that's good.
Yeah, they've done it.
Okay, so here we are, 57. I think Weipler's the pick. You need a center.
Oh, 100%. But where's is Schmidt there?
I
might
would
have taken.
bet on that Washington took him.
Oh, dirty bastards. Well, Whippler's the only correct answer.
Yeah, Luke Weipler it is. Now to the Giants. Obviously, the Jets don't have a third. So
Otani just hit a double.
ooh.
So a runner in second, nobody out, bottom of the ninth. Japan can tie the game with a
all
single.
right, so here we are, 89 overall. Wide receiver and center. I would suggest that what would be corner that the next thing. we
Garrett
do?
Williams.
I just want to make sure he's a fit for the man scheme that we do run. Let's see. Long speed, zone coverage instincts. Interesting. Or Tomlinson, who has a lot of
Oh yeah, Tomlins is pretty good, but isn't Williams rated higher?
Significantly higher.
Let's see. So they say 71.1 for him, and then they say a little bit higher for Hodges Tomlinson.
All right.
He's a little bit smaller, but he's got the arms, so
All right.
we'll go with Tomlinson. New York Jets are up next with 112.
Yes, Jeffrey. It's an awesome baseball game, man. This is amazing.
All right, we've went linebacker. Let's go safety. See what they got.
Mm-hmm.
Safety.
Who's someone? Rashad Torrance?
That's way too early for him.
Too early?
Let me
I
look
feel
at Jair Brown because he's projected to be by some special teamer.
Okay.
I don't want
I don't want as a safety.
I don't want a special teamer though.
He by NFL.com he projects to be an average starter.
Can we scroll? What about Quindell Johnson?
That's another way too early pick.
Do we wait on safety?
I'm gonna determine physical as a run stopper.
Brendan Joseph is also there. I don't know what you think of him.
Jair Brown.
You taking Jair Brown?
All right, I'll give you that one.
The New York Giants are next. All our top needs have been assessed as of right now. So where do we go here?
Dorian Williams or KJ Henry?
I think I'm going to take Williams for the sake of linebacker.
Yep.
All right. Jets have 2 remaining picks. Here they are right now.
I think we can use depth at defensive tackle based on how this offseason has been so far.
Here's your defensive interiors.
Let me see if Ajomo's a fit in the scheme. I've looked at him multiple times with the scouting report. I just want to see where he fits. I think I'm leaning on Ajomo here.
All right.
Ajomo? All right.
Yep.
Nice pickup.
Giants are next. All right. So here are our choices. Not anyone outstanding unless you want to draft another D tackle again.
No, because I think we're going to sign up Sean Williams.
Sean Robinson. Jacorian Bennett is a possible option.
What about safety?
All right, let's see what safety has in stock. Quindell Johnson, Trey Dean. Any particular preference?
Probably. Well, let's look at both.
I'm looking at Quindell Johnson right now. Scheme 4-2-5 blended coverages, starting safety. That doesn't tell me a lot. Let's see. An ability to beat blocks, play through contact. Okay, so this is what you get in the 4th, 5th round. I want to see what Trey Dean looks like, and then I'll make my decision. I guess we can. Trey Dean, let's see. Ideal situation, scheme versatile, reasons for concern, inconsistent technique, and discipline and eyes in the backfield. So he's not a great reader of the play, but he's good in man-to-man, physical tackler, and positional versatility.
Okay. Well, that'll suit me fine if you want to go Dean.
All right, Trey Dean. All right, so we're up on the clock again.
Maybe go receiver.
Well, let's see what wide receiver has. Still a couple on the board that Ronnie Bell might be gone by the time we go. Bryce Ford Wheaton's okay. I haven't done much work on Moreno Cropper, though.
Maybe Ronnie Bell. Well, do you want to go best BPA or do you want to go receiver?
I mean, personally, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, BPA is probably going to be most of the way the rest of the draft.
Yeah. Okay. What about the other corner?
All right. Bennett,
Bennett.
I believe he's more fit for a zone system. Mekhi Blackman is a man-to-man guy, but the problem with him is very much so an injury history.
Okay.
But then again, it's like the 6th round, so you're not going to care too much.
We haven't gone running back yet.
We have not.
Oh my God! It is deep. It is back. It is far. It is off the wall.
Whoa.
Oh, Japan are going to win! Oh my God! They won!
Damn, it was wrong. Damn it.
Oh my God.
Let's pick running back. Let me take corner off the board. Which one are we taking?
Keaton Mitchell. Or Chris Rodriguez. Which one?
Rodriguez is more of a bruiser, so I think he's the way.
Okay.
All right, Luca. The only other position, unless you have another one you want to shout out there, probably a wideout,
Sure.
unless you're thinking of something else.
Here's your answers.
Bobo. I think he's a big body guy.
He was.
All right, so that's now we got 4 more picks. Lonnie Phelps is solid as an edge. He really stood out in the Senior Bowl, so I'm thinking him.
All right, do it.
Phelps. Right. Now 240. We already picked running back.
You've already picked running back, so maybe go receiver.
All right. Here's our options.
Jaden Hazelwood, probably.
Okay. And then same thing again.
I quite like Diabate, but let's see who else. Hunter Lipke, maybe tight end or another corner.
Tight end. Let's see what corner has. Our options.
Okay. Which ones jump out to you?
Rajon Wright's a pretty good run defender.
Yeah, maybe Marshawn Ford would be a solid tight end.
I mean, it's BPA at this point, so.
Brenton Strange. Do you want to maybe look at tight end just for shits and giggles?
Yeah, we're under tight end now.
Okay, well, do you want to try Marshawn Ford?
Yeah, why not? I mean, you can't go wrong here. And then the last one, pretty much the same.
Did we get another receiver?
We got Hazelwood.
Oh, we have. That's fine. So we've gone edge, we've gone linebacker, gone safety, gone corner, couple corners.
Let's see. As they recommended that Rajon Wright kid.
Okay, that'll do. That's a good way to
let's
hold
see
it.
who grades out as the better draft. Hopefully we'll load this time, which I think it will. All right, the Giants get a B+.
Chris Rodriguez was not rated highly, but everything else is good.
Yeah. And the Jets, they get a B. So that's B+ for the Giants. Jets get a B.
PFF can kiss my ass.
How is Roger Jones a C+?
It's because PFF is disgusting. That's why.
Okay. You could put it as that. I guess before we get into our final basketball segment, John, if you just want to run by the Rangers, and then we'll end with basketball.
Sure, I would love to. Luca, how about those Rangers?
Winning the last couple of games, Mika Zibanejad, was it 2 shutouts in a row, one each by Halleck and Igor Shesterkin. The defense, to me, John, is tightened up, and that's, I think, a big key in the last few wins.
Tightened up nicely. They have gone the deficit. They've in their last 3 games so far. This is dating back to the game Thursday against Pittsburgh. 15. They have scored the last 15 goals without giving up one, which is fucking outstanding.
Amazing.
Go ahead, Luca. Go ahead.
No, I just said amazing. Like, obviously, they won Thursday against the Penguins. They won Saturday, and they obviously won yesterday when they practically blew out the Nashville Predators. I mean, everybody was scoring. It was Keandre Miller with 2 goals. He had 4 points. Mika Zibanejad, I think, had one of the first goals of the game. You had Artemi Panarin. You had Tyler Mott scoring a goal. So it seems like the chemistry and everything is coming together. And that's at the right time, honestly, because we're obviously getting down the home stretch of the season. So you obviously like to see that.
I do want to say that the one thing, I don't think their competition was the greatest.
That's true.
Back during this 4-game win streak, I think Pittsburgh is average, meh.
Right.
Any Pittsburgh fan that wants to attack me, go ahead. Great. Your team is average. You lost to us in the playoffs. And you're
how about that Pittsburgh fan that was tweeting at me the other day and you had to handle?
Oh, he just needed a lesson in understanding, and I don't think he really got the memo. But that's okay. I think I won that battle. Obviously, their poverty franchise decided to open their mouths after an overtime win they had. We beat them. We beat them up on our home turf. We beat up Washington. Beat up Nashville. Everyone's fucking scoring, man. This first line has been incredible. Zibanejad's been amazing.
He's one of the 3 stars of the week for the NHL.
Excellent for him. Jacob Trouba's playing a lot better on defense, which is something they desperately need. And I think one thing that's not even noted, Ryan Lindgren should be coming back for tomorrow's game against Carolina. Easily their best defensive defenseman. And if I had to say it, if you're looking at playoff scenarios, if it's either Carolina or New Jersey we face, I'd rather face Carolina. And if we beat them in these 2 games, I'd rather face them than New Jersey.
Professor John, when you guys scored a touchdown in the first couple minutes, what was the final Ranger score?
7-0. They won.
7-0. That's amazing.
Donald, like I said, they have scored 15 goals without letting up one in their and this is dating back to Thursday's game. They won.
Outrageous. So where are they in the standings?
What happened?
Where are they in the standings?
Well, I was just going to do a standings little check here because I brought up 2 other teams. So right now the Hurricanes are first in the Metro at 98 points. The Devils are second at 97, and the New York Rangers are third at 92. The Rangers like I said, they face Carolina twice this week. So if they win both games,
place, how far 4th from 3rd?
4th place is the wild card spot, and right now the New York Islanders are at 80 points.
Oh, so the Rangers have it in the back.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. It's more of seeding in the first round for us. I'm not worried about clinching the playoffs. I'm sorry?
How many games are left?
For the Rangers, they have a total of 11 games left. So do the Devils, and the Carolina Hurricanes have 13 games remaining.
Are you going to go to a playoff game?
If I can get my hands on tickets, sure. And it's not too expensive.
Go for it.
Do you think that the Rangers, I don't know, this would be a bit of a stretch because obviously they're behind Carolina and New Jersey for the division. Do you think they have a chance at least trying to get to the top?
I think it's a little too far-fetched just because Carolina has the games in hand on us. They have 2 games less than us. We could still beat them. But again, gaining ground of 6 points is not impossible, but it's not easy to do with just 11 games left. So then again, New Jersey is the same amount of games played. So they lost a few times to Tampa this week. So not a team. But like I was saying, I'd rather face Carolina right now because you look at their trade deadline, going back to that, they didn't really add anyone. New Jersey added Timo Meier to help their scoring. The Rangers added Kane Tarasenko. And some depth guys. Carolina didn't do a whole lot. They also lost one of their bigger forwards. Andrei Svechnikov is a really good goal scorer. They're a little weaker down the middle, so it'll be interesting to see if the Rangers can get the seeding with Carolina. I think they got a better shot than them against New Jersey.
That would be a fun series, Jersey and New York Rangers.
It would be a 2012 rematch after they beat us.
Definitely would.
On the revenge tour for that.
Anything else, Luca?
Nothing else on the hockey front.
Just want to touch on baseball for a second. So, just an update for our baseball fans. USA, Japan tomorrow. Tell you what, this WBC's been really, really good. This has been a very competitive, very exciting games. I mean, the USA game where Turner hit the grand slam was awesome. And Goldschmidt just went insane yesterday. My God. And Trey Turner suddenly turning into Captain America right now. He's been balling out. I mean, have you guys been watching the USA games?
I have. I've been watching the World Baseball Classic, and I'll say this before I get into my pessimistic point. They are fun to watch. I'll agree on that. Do I think they're a little? Do they kind of suck in the way where my team is cursed and has to deal with their closer getting hurt on a celebration? Yeah, of course. Of course he would. Of course he would get hurt. So, but do I?
Okay, so my question to you now, bringing up the Mets, what are you guys going to do at closer?
Right now the inside man whoever, I'd say David Robertson has the best shot of winning the job now.
Really?
Just because he's got the experience of a closer. And if it doesn't work, we go get someone at the deadline because it's not a position, where I would want to overpay for and give up any top prospects or make a drastic change because it seems like Diaz is out for the year, unfortunately. And I pray he gets better because when he's right, he's the best closer in baseball. It's not even close. Last year,
Is there any rumors of anyone you're going to pick up?
There was one rumor but a lot of teams were interested in him. Zach Britton had another throwing.
Oh, not him, man! You don't want that guy.
And it scares me because Buck Showalter has a connection with him back in Baltimore. So he's the best option, but am I really going to go out there and have a massive overpay? I want to say massive overpay, but an overreaction to get him. I'd rather just keep Robertson and see what he could do at this point. If that doesn't work out before, you got a kid down there, Monte Deaca, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. I've seen him in spring training. Throws 102 and has wicked stuff. So we'll see if he gets a shot as a closer role as an outsider. Maybe Ottavino. He was more of our setup man last year, so it's going to be real interesting. But Diaz is a huge loss. I don't think you guys understood. This dude was literally an automatic 1-2-3 out in the ninth inning last year.
100%.
Electric fastball, had a lot of movement. His slider was touching 92, 93, and it was just almost impossible to hit off him. Yeah, I think you look at the opponent batting average, it was ridiculously low, and I think his strikeouts per 9 was up there in the leaderboard. So really tough loss for him.
And the Yankees, so apparently they are it's actually an organization-wide thing they're going to be doing. At the moment, they're in the stage where they're kind of passing emails around the front office, and that's kind of
passing emails.
It's going to be a situation where it doesn't look like Cashman's going to make the decision all by himself in regards to Volpe, Torres, IKF, and Peraza. It's apparently everyone involved in the front office. He doesn't want to just override people, which, and you know what, in fairness and credit to him, that's probably the best way to go. So you're probably going to get more of a voice from Manea and guys like that. See what happens. Obviously, the logical choice is they have to have Volpe and Peraza making it out of spring. It's a must. But Volpe's been tearing it up, so I mean that's a positive thing. The Yankees are losing a lot of games in spring, but I just think it's been a weird spring because I've never come across a situation since other than 2013 where there's so many spots that are up for grabs. We're talking about 5 or 6 regular spots in the lineup. You know what I mean? I mean, we're talking second, short, third, right, left and center. Catcher, we don't really have a number one catcher. It's still and then you go 4th and 5th starters, which are kind of up in the air now because of the injuries. So there's a lot of moving pieces. And a lot
You don't
of
like Jose Trevino behind the plate?
He's injured, but he's gonna be ready for opening day. So there's really no battle to be had, in my opinion.
Okay, well, there's Higashioka as well. Higashioka, might get a lot of games too. So there's a lot of positions that are kind of up in the air right now.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely going to be more of a synchronized topic next week because we'll get closer to roster construction and we'll have our predictions. And if you want, you could come with a 26-man roster prediction. So, I mean, those are just some inside thoughts. Nothing has really changed with the Yankees over the course of spring training, despite the fact they've been losing games. Like, the thing that's happened, I mean, Bader got hurt, but, I mean, we kind of knew Aaron Hicks was going to be in from the jump. But, I mean, just that hasn't changed a lot for me where it's made me change my thoughts on what the Yankees are going to do and how they're going to approach it and how they'll play. Just my opinion. So,
like in what way? So who do you think is? Do you think, like, for instance, Josh Donaldson's going to be starting at third and Aaron?
Oh yeah, I have no reason to believe not to.
I mean, I've read reports that Volpe being at the WBC is actually Torres being at the WBC has actually helped Volpe's case because he's been getting all of his at bats. There could be a chance that Torres gets traded.
I think they hold on to them till the deadline, but I mean, there's a lot to be discussed. But I think they hold him till the deadline. I don't think they're going to trade him right away. Apparently, some moves. Pete has some. What was I going to say? Pete thinks that moves are going to be made. I don't think so. My opinion, my pessimism. Just I don't mean to downturn the conversation. It's just that's just the way I process with the Yankees nowadays.
Look at what do you think, man?
I'm kind of nonplussed by it. It's great that Volpe's showing stuff, but I don't think any major groundbreaking shit's gonna happen. So Hicks starting at center, same old. Who could have predicted that? Pretty much half the world. But to be honest, it's whatever. I mean, I hope Volpe and Parris are both on the roster, but if they do I know they're gonna pull this shit where it's gonna be either one of them and not both.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, I sent you guys that article, and once again, another day, another Yankee front office official attacking the fan base.
It's not a surprise at this point.
I just don't care anymore with this shit. Like, I've completely put them out of the box. To me, I'm only so drawn into watching the Yankees now. It's just
I've never seen three people all just like at once have it's not even that you can't stand them. You just the life has been sucked out of you guys. Literally,
look at his face. He looks like he's completely done.
We're of no value to them, John. I just don't care. I mean, I do care. Obviously, I hope my team's successful, but anything they do is going to be anything good they do is going to be a mirage. I didn't see through it last year for the first part, but through the second half, yeah, it was a fucking collapse.
Yeah, so Cashman called Yankee fans on social media toxic.
Oh, surprise.
Yeah, I can't say I'm shocked. I read that before the show. I'm like, you know what? I just it's what the front office thinks of us, and I think they get a rise out of all this other stuff, and then people defend them. But that's my opinion.
That's the stupidity of Yankee fans, unfortunately.
My opinion with this is, I think, the name of the Chris Rock special, Selective Outrage. I think the Yankees front office practice selective outrage, right? They are more focused on the Yankee fans booing and the Yankee fans being upset at losing rather than the reasons for their losing. You know what I mean? They're more upset by the Yankees' reaction to the sweep rather than the sweep itself. That is very much selective outrage. You know, the media, the beat media, Brandon Cuddy calling Yankee fans dummies for booing Aaron Hicks on spring training is selective outrage because, again, they're not looking at why Aaron Hicks has been dropping the ball on a daily basis in the outfield. You know what I mean? It's like we're the low hanging fruit. It's very easy to blame us because we're of our reactions, but they're not looking at the cause and effect, like the actual cause of the reason why we're upset. It just stems from a lack of accountability, but it's also slightly outrageous because the Yankee fans, the Yankee organization, kind of make it out like the fans are the only ones, the Yankee fans are the only ones that do this. It's not like it's an actual citywide thing. This is kind of what it's like in New York, right? When Carmelo Anthony dropped 62 points, he only had like a couple of assists. He was blamed for being selfish. You know, you can't make everyone happy, right? And so even the dumbest takes are takes after all, you know, but it's not isolated to Yankee fans. That's what I'm saying. You know, Met fans are upset when the Mets lose. Jet fans are upset when the Jets lose. We know that for sure. Giant fans are very much upset when they lose. Knicks fans go nuts when they lose, right? But the great thing is, when they all win, we're more invested than any fan base in any other city. It's just the way it is. So you either accept it or you're in the wrong business. So like blaming Yankee fans is going to the point now where it's laughable. And I think that they are more focused on the fans' reaction as if we're these crazy idiotic lunatics, rather than, hey, you know what? Things aren't working. How can we fix them? So that's my biggest takeaway right now. And I don't see this from other organizations. I don't see other organizations constantly hating on their fans. And it's a point that I need to reinforce because this is not normal. Damon Lillard just said, Portland Trailblazer fans are the best fans in the world. Knicks fans. What did Walt Clyde Frazier? Knicks fans are the best fans in the world. Brian Cashman. Yankee fans are toxic. What does that say?
I mean, you're making all good points, but it kind of just goes to what we know at this point. What we expect is them shitting on us, the propagandists, whatever. We don't do that here, but I've fallen out of taste. I'm not going to say I stop Yankees content on this channel, but it's just not worth, in my opinion, for myself to talk about it. I mean, once again, salient points, but I don't see anything changing unless there's a knock in the head. I don't know if that kind of makes sense. Someone like hits him in the head with a baseball bat or whatever. But I mean, it's the same shit. It's the same shit. And nothing's going to change. My opinion, once again, I'm living in, as what we would say, Matt Riley pessimism, but just my honest thoughts. Anyone have any final words? Just Jeff in the chat. What's going on? Probably a little bit sad as well because he's a Mets fan too. With the whole Diaz
we
thing.
share the pain, Jeffy.
Share the pain. But Luca, if you want to wrap it up with basketball.
I think we're just going to do power rankings and that's it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
It's gonna be real quick. Got the tier maker up here. This isn't the same list from what I did last time, but all even categories. You got your championship contenders, series contenders, first round exits, play-ins, in lottery. So let me pull up the NBA standings as well, so we can get an idea of this real quick.
That's a lot of categories.
It is. So just to outline it, in the Eastern Conference, the first seed is the Bucks, second seed Celtics, third seed 76ers, fourth seed the Cavs, fifth seed the Knicks, sixth seed the Nets, seventh seed the Heat, eighth the Hawks, ninth the Raptors, 10 the Bulls. For the Western Conference, it's the Nuggets, Grizzlies, Kings, Suns, Clippers, Warriors, Mavericks, Timberwolves, Thunder, and Lakers. So start off with the Utah Jazz. They currently are 11th. They are tied with the Lakers, but the Lakers have the tiebreaker over them. So I guess we'll just list them as a playing team. Detroit Pistons, kind of obvious. They just got eliminated. So lottery. Hornets also got eliminated. Lottery. Portland Trailblazers, 13th seed. They're on the way out. So
yeah. Sorry, Dame.
Dallas Mavericks currently seated in the 7th seed, so they're going to be a play-in. Houston Rockets, another lottery team.
Easily.
Brooklyn Nets, they're right now a 6th seed. So
First round exit. That's my vote.
I agree because I think the Nets will stick around for that 6th seed.
Where are the Heat though? How far are they from the Nets?
The Heat are a game back from the Nets.
I think the Heat are going to get this 6th seed.
Really?
And the Nets are going to be playing.
I'm sticking with the Nets being a first-round exit. I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's possible that they could be both a play-in and a first-round exit.
I just don't like Miami's depth.
No, Miami is shit depth. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, contenders, serious contenders, or championship contenders?
Contenders.
Contenders.
The Boston Celtics.
Serious contenders.
I think that's fair. I don't think they're. I think they'll collapse sometime in the playoffs, but not the first. They're not going to go all the way. Timberwolves playing.
Playing team. Yep.
OKC Thunder. They're playing as of right now. I'm really impressed. They're the 9th seed as of right now. They are 9th seed. They are tied with the Timberwolves practically around the same area. Heat.
Well, that would take the Lakers out of it, though.
The Lakers are the 10th seed as of right now.
I think the Lakers will make the play-in too.
That's true. These are all 4 Western Conference teams, so one's going to have to be eliminated from the bunch.
Yep.
The 7th seed is the Mavericks, so
I think the Mavs are going to be a first-round exit. I think.
Yeah, I'd agree on that too. Oh, actually, you don't want to put them as contenders? You don't think
Mavs? No.
You don't want to put Luka and Kyrie?
I do not like their depth.
They don't play any defense. Like, did you guys see the buzzer beater that they hit?
I did.
Yeah, I did. It was from Maxi Kleba.
You don't think that they'll win a playoff round?
No, they'll win a few games, but not a round.
It's possible. I'd be surprised. They just don't play enough defense. But when you've got Kyrie doing something as special as that, like with a couple 0.2 of a second left, and him managing to spot Kleber, was incredible.
All right, fair enough.
Miami Heat.
First round exit team.
I mean, yeah, they'll probably get past the play-in and into the first round, so that's a first round exit. Kings, contenders or serious contenders? To me, I think they might be. I might put them in the serious contenders because there's not a lot of like real teams in the Western Conference in the first 6. Like, I don't think Denver's going to do anything. They're collapsing right now.
This is like a rocket in a bottle. I shouldn't say that. I just don't. This is their first time in the playoffs. Like,
so contenders.
I think it's contenders, man. I don't think that they've got an alpha that's going to help them.
Golden State currently 6th.
Just because of the talent.
Serious contenders?
Not serious. I would go contenders.
You don't think they're not serious?
It's just contenders, I think.
Chicago Bulls. They've actually been 6-2, I think, since adding Patrick Beverley. They are ranked 10th. They have just moved. They've moved into the play-in. Wizards are out.
Yeah, I could see that. I think they're playing.
Play-in.
The LA Lakers.
Play-in.
Very competent team so far. Pacers, they're pretty much lottery. They are 12th. So
lottery. They're not going anywhere.
Memphis Grizzlies.
Fuck them.
First round exit?
Let's see what they face. They would face – there's a 2nd seed. They would face
John Morant might come back soon.
he's coming back Wednesday.
Wednesday? I thought he had like an 8-game ban.
No. So how it would slate it would be the winner of the Dallas-Minnesota matchup would face the Grizzlies.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
The winner of the Dallas-Minnesota matchup between the 7th and 8th seed would face the Grizzlies in the first round.
Damn, I think Dallas would beat Memphis.
Yeah, I think Memphis is a little stupid right now, so I'm going to go contenders.
I'm actually thinking Memphis would be the first round exit and Dallas would beat them.
That's why.
That's true. Never mind. Hawks.
Playing.
Yeah.
Let me see where they're slated at. The Hawks are 8th. Trash can team.
Bucks
Orlando
are
Magic, lottery. Milwaukee Bucks. I think that's the only championship contender right now.
championship team. Yep,
Denver Nuggets.
serious contenders.
I'm actually gonna probably still make them championship contenders just purely because of how strong they've been.
That's fair. New Orleans Pelicans ranked right now. They have fallen to the 12th seed. They've plummeted.
Lottery. They've been so terrible.
The LA Clippers, they're seed number 5. They would face off against the Phoenix Suns in the first round. That series probably will go to 7. So would they be a first round exit or a contender?
First round exit because KD will be back for the Suns game for the Suns in the first round.
So I think we're throwing the Suns in contenders or series contenders. I think series with Kevin Durant.
Championship team.
Okay. Philadelphia 76ers.
Championship team.
San Antonio Spurs, lottery. Washington, lottery. Knicks.
Our Knicks.
Probably the first round exit.
First round exit. Yep.
And the Toronto Raptors, they rank the 9th seed, so they're playing.
Who would the Knicks potentially match up with right now?
Cleveland.
I think that it could be Cleveland.
I think they can. It's just I think obviously like Cleveland doesn't have the playoff experience. They have some guys who have it, like Donovan Mitchell, obviously.
Talent is better, I'd say.
But I think the Knicks will be a dangerous team in the playoffs, but I'm not sure if they're ready to win a first-round series yet. We'll see. I'm not a prisoner of the moment, so we'll wait and see.
Not a first-round exit. Yeah, well, if it was my vote, I would have them as contenders.
We'll see. So I'll leave it at that for then we'll obviously reevaluate when it comes to like the near end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. John, Luca, Donald, final thoughts.
Well, ladies and gents, what have we learned today? Great show, by the way. First off, always love thanking the fans. Thank you for the donations. Jets Mess, and I forgot who the other one is, please. Someone else remind me so I can thank them. Bill, thank you. But yet again, baseball is coming up soon. We have me, Alex, and Sox will be doing the show Wednesday, and plus our big preview for the 4 of us next Monday. The Rangers are hopefully let's kick some more Carolina ass. The Storm is not coming here. Okay, we're gonna fucking obliterate them. Fuck them. The Knicks lost a tough one today. And that's okay, though. We're not going to get angry at them. And hopefully the Jets finally get Aaron Rodgers so I can think about other free agents and other possibilities of what they can do. And also me and Luca can get an hour or 2 extra sleep and not lose much more over it.
Luca?
Final thoughts. Prospect of the week was good. Obviously, free agency hasn't completed itself yet, but I'm waiting to see the whole Aaron Rodgers saga. And the Knicks took a brutal loss, but we move on.
Donald?
Yeah, we'll talk about the next game on Friday, guys. So everyone in the chat, check us out on Friday. Me and Luca will break down the Knicks game. Brutal ending. Randall had one of the great nights in Knicks history, but they played no defense, so that's a tough one to stomach. But they did beat Denver. Can't forget about that. That was a huge win. So we obviously discussed every aspect of the Giants and the Jets, so you guys are all caught up on that. And it's USA versus Japan tomorrow, so let's go USA. I think the WBC has been a kind of a blessing, certainly for me, because I was kind of turned off of baseball. Alex and Luke given regarding the Yankees, but damn, there's been some great baseball. So it reminded me that this could actually be a fun year. So I'll maybe try and get myself slowly back into it, and hopefully we'll get into some more conversations about baseball in the coming podcasts. But once again, thanks so much for the donations. It means a lot to
because we do all this content for you guys after all. So, as we say, let's go USA.
Like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff, guys. Thank you for the donations. Tomorrow, unless the Giants sign somebody or something happens, likely nothing, then Wednesday will be the Dead Red podcast, the first edition of this week. I'll be myself, Angry John, and Sox at 9:45. We're going to go over our predictions for the MLB season, followed by a roundtable the following day with a couple of AL East content creators. So it should be fun. And also after that, you guys got the Friday Night Next podcast, which you guys should definitely tune into and share on all the good stuff. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next time later.